9660. That's 1-800-355-9660. There's no risk or obligation. That number again is 1-800-355-9660. That's 1-800-355-9660. Call now.
So we were talking with our travel experts earlier about the travel outlook for this summer, and unfortunately it's looking pretty bleak, but they did give us some tips on how to arrange your trip, book early, and travel lightly because fuel prices are skyrocketing.
Yeah, the airline industry experts, they actually gave us a very clear view in terms of how all of these things are interconnected.
Yes.
Even looking at some of the large airlines, thinking about merging together, United and American.
Yeah.
I think that's a bad idea, as they pointed out, because that'll actually cause more flights to be canceled, higher ticket prices. I doubt if the federal government will allow them to merge, but we could see a lot more with regard to taking away privileges with regard to free bags.
That's gone away.
And limiting even further the weight and size of carry-ons. So I think the airlines industries they'll actually look at this as an opportunity to streamline things and actually boost their bottom line. That's what I.
You're watching theDove TV, encouraging and informative for Santa Rosa and the wine country. Seen on KUKR 27 and these Dove TV affiliates. Good morning. You're tuned to theDove, encouraging and informative, helping Oregon, Northern California, Idaho, and Nevada start the day with news and encouragement. This is Mornings on theDove.
Hey, good morning to you. Happy Friday. Welcome to Mornings on theDove. Notice Jerry is happy.
Oh, it's a good day.
There we go.
Yeah.
Took us 4 days to get here.
Yeah. We're going to cherish it, yeah.
All right, good morning to you. Happy Friday. We have a little bit of a turn in the weather to the good.
Yeah.
But, boy, excuse me, cold last night. Whew. Yeah.
Yeah. The furnace was running this morning when I got up.
Yeah.
What's that sound?
Well, I don't know.
It's the furnace.
Did anybody tell Mr. Weatherman that this is April 17th?
Yeah, it's a funny thing about spring in the Pacific Northwest, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
Oh, my goodness.
Anyway, good morning to you. Happy Friday. A lot going on in the news. Have they made a deal?
Oh, boy, we're all kind of wondering about that. There is a truce between Israel and Lebanon.
Yeah, that's going on for 10 days.
Yeah, so...
Our ceasefire is good until next Tuesday. Iran and the United States. However, the president is indicating that they have made a deal and he may be going to Pakistan.
Sounds like it, yeah.
Seal it up. So we'll see where this is going to go.
Has he left Las Vegas yet? He was there.
Well,
He's all over the place.
He had to go spend the night at the Big T there.
Yes.
You've seen it. It's off the beat.
I've been there, yeah.
It's on the west side of the Strip.
Yeah.
And if you're at the Sphere or any of the places, you look out and there's this big golden T in the air. So it's kind of interesting to see.
We went there once and we were visiting. We went with family and we're all at one hotel, but I had a brother. Well, I had relatives in another hotel, and he's Republican and she's Democrat.
Oh my stars!
And so I go over there to visit their room, and he says, "Check this out, Jerry." And he opens up the thing, and right out their window is the Trump Tower with a big T. He says, "This is beautiful." He goes, "It's driving her crazy."
Well, there you go. So anyway, we'll see. There's rumors that he may be going to Pakistan.
I think so, yeah.
So we'll see what happens there. Anyway, good morning to you. Beautiful weather, spring. The flowers are still out there. The green is still green.
Yeah.
The leaves are now out there. The oak trees have went from the leaves to the fuzz to the dropping of the worms.
Yeah.
They're kind of at the tail end of that right now.
Yeah.
you know.
Yes.
So anyway, it's kind of a messy time of the year.
Yeah, and you got to be careful too, because it can collect on your vehicles
Oh.
and whatever you got outside, man. That stuff just gets on it.
Yellow, green.
Yeah.
Everywhere.
Right.
All right, good morning. What's up?
Write a poem about it.
Write a poem.
It's National Haiku Poetry Day, and haiku poetry is a form of Japanese poetry encouraging us to express our creativity. So whatever form of poetry you use,
Well, you know,
use it.
it's so interesting. That's today. You know what I got stuck on watching last night?
What?
Somehow I ended up watching the Cowboy Poetry Festival in Elko, Nevada.
No way. Oh, now I'm interested in
They
that.
meet out there at Elko, you know, once a year or once every 2 years or something like that. And when I was younger, we went to Elko all the time. My dad had a ranch just north of Elko, and we'd go out there for the summer. But there they are, this stage full of these cowboy poets, and it was hilarious.
Yes, it's funny.
It's hilarious. Some of them walk out with a guitar and never strum it. It's just kind of like a prop. You know, they have a guitar on. They all have hats, and the hat thing is just remarkable because it's every kind of cowboy hat you can possibly imagine.
Yeah.
And they all come out there, you know, and they said, well, now, you know, Trigger was a good horse. But it ran into a Peterbilt, and we didn't know what we were going to do.
You sound like that guy that was on Johnny Carson. He had one of those guys on.
Well, he did. He had the guy that did the vegetable revenge. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, that's good.
Those carrots. Anyway, it is poetry. If you've never watched cowboy poetry,
Well, there you go.
you're really missing it.
It's not the same as Japanese haiku poetry, but who cares?
Anything that's cowboy poetry can turn into a song.
I love it. Oh, yeah. A country song, huh?
Yeah. Remember when backmasking was the big thing?
Backmasking.
Yes, when you had a record on your record player and you go backwards.
Oh, backwards to get
And
into
it would
the
make
groove.
all these noises.
Yes.
Now in rap music they go.
That's right.
But-
yes.
But there was a cowboy song, they backmasked it, all right? The guy's truck started, his dog came home, and his wife liked him.
That's perfect. Cowboy poetry right here. It's National Pet ID Week. So whatever form of ID you use for your pets, if it's a
chip?
A chip. It might be a chip. Are you chipped?
Yes.
Okay.
And Piper's got a chip.
Yeah, I had surgery yesterday on a dog.
Yeah.
And they asked me, do you want him chipped?
Well, you're not going in there with half a foot.
So where are you going to put it?
Yeah.
Moving on.
Yeah,
It's National Cheese Ball Day. We kind of associate cheese balls with winter, especially around the holidays.
Yeah.
You know, we get a lot of cheese balls, soft cheese with stuff in it from, like sunflower seeds and all kinds of different stuff. It's good. I like cheese, and you just got to be careful you don't leave part of the cracker on the cheese ball when you scoop it.
Oh, there you go.
You should probably use a knife and then anyway, enjoy it. It's also, I like this, National Crawfish Day. A smaller freshwater cousin to the lobster. Crawfish provide a unique flavor to many homegrown southern dishes, baked or broiled. Crawfish is usually seasoned with a distinctive brand of southern heat. Oh,
Yeah.
well, of course it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. What's wrong with that? Seasoned?
Well, I've never, I've had one crawfish. I didn't get turned on to it too much, you know.
I've eaten crawfish out of Elk Creek.
Really?
Yeah.
So do you suck them out?
Yeah.
See, that was the part that bothered me.
Yeah, it is kind of messy and
You
unsightly.
just don't know what else you're sucking.
All kinds of weird sounds. Yes, okay, moving on. And the last thing we got is it is National Ellis Island Family History Day, encouraging families to explore their ancestry and discover family who immigrated through Ellis Island. But did you know Ellis Island existed long before it came the Ellis Island that we know as a portal for immigrants coming to the United States. In the early 1800s, check this out, it was a place where pirates and criminals were condemned to death.
Whoa.
New Yorkers came to know the island as Gibbet Island after the gibbets or posts where the criminals were hanged. It was then used by the Navy before it became a stopping point for immigrants. And the first immigrant to step foot through Ellis Island wasn't even an adult. She was technically a minor, a 17-year-old Irish girl named Annie Moore. She came to the United States with her 2 younger brothers, who were 11 and 7. Her parents and 2 older siblings had already traveled to the United States, and on New Year's Day, 1892, the whole family was reunited in New York City. And it was originally 3.3 acres in size, but Ellis Island has grown, and now it's 27.5 acres.
Wow.
All landfill.
Really?
From 3 acres to 27.5 acres, all landfill. And this is beautiful footage. Isn't that nice stuff?
Yeah.
And we've both been there, and it is a great trip, and would
You have to
highly
do it.
recommend it to everybody.
You have to do it.
Yes.
You have to go to the Statue of Liberty, and you have to go to Ellis Island, and you have to spend time there and have a good tour guide take you through every part of it.
Yes, yes.
That's a good thing.
And there's some good documentaries on Ellis Island. I would encourage you to watch it. But a great realistic scene of what Ellis Island looked like and what the atmosphere was like. If you want to see that, watch Godfather 2.
There you go.
It's great.
All right. All right, well, here's the Elk Creek Sucker right here.
A look at our forecast from Grange Co-op. Today in northern Oregon and southern Washington, increasing clouds in low 60s in Vancouver and Portland, patchy frost and mostly sunny in near 62 in Wilsonville, and patchy frost and fog, then mostly sunny and 59 in McMinnville. Moving down the Willamette Valley with early patchy frost and fog, otherwise mostly sunny and near 60 for Salem, Albany, and Corvallis, and near 62 in Eugene with lows in the upper 30s. In central Oregon, increasing clouds in near 59 in Prineville, mostly sunny in Bend and Sun River with daytime highs in the mid-50s, a freeze warning this morning in Boise, Idaho, then sunny and near 55. Along the Oregon coast, patchy frost and fog in Coos Bay, then mostly sunny in mid-60s, mostly sunny from Port Orford with a high near 60, through Brookings near 57, and Crescent City, California near 60. In southern Oregon, widespread frost before 8 a.m. in the Rogue Valley, otherwise mostly sunny in mid-60s for Grants Pass, Medford, and Ashland, sunny skies in Klamath Falls with a high near 59. Into northern California, widespread frost and mostly sunny in mid-60s in Wairika, sunny and breezy from Redding through Chico and Sacramento with high temperatures in the low to mid-70s. In the Bay Area, sunny skies across the region with daytime high temperatures in the low to mid-70s from Santa Rosa over to Napa, into San Francisco, and down to San Jose with a light northwest wind. It's a look at your Friday weather from Grange Co-op.
All right, there you go. Picture of our backyard this morning. Yep, that is Southern Oregon, believe it or not. So anyway, chilly out there. Chilly. Let's see, it is 34 degrees here at the studio.
Yeah, my little snowflake went ding on my dashboard on the way in. I thought, be careful, it's cold out there. Yeah, all right. Well, it's time for Friday Morning Encouragement with Dr. Anthony George.
If you consider what these apostles had experienced for 3.5 years before the cross, they had walked with Jesus, they had learned from Jesus, they had seen Jesus do the miraculous. And Jesus had even made one of the most fascinating promises to them that every time I read it, I have to pause. I'll be honest with you. It's in John 14:12. In light of everything they had seen him do, he looked at them and he said to them, "Greater works than these shall you do." Has anybody besides me ever read that with a sense of wonder and mystery? Greater works than what Jesus had done, his followers would do. He told them that in John 14:12. So this 40-day period between resurrection and ascension back to heaven, I believe, was a time of preparing them to be able to fulfill that promise to do the greater works. These 40 days were the preparation they needed before ultimately receiving the Holy Spirit, which would happen in Acts chapter 2, and then taking the gospel to the ends of the earth. I personally want to thank God in front of the congregation today that God builds these seasons of preparation into my life, and I know he does the same thing in your life. He builds your faith and he prepares you for what's coming next. And here's the thing about it, he doesn't always tell you. In fact, he rarely tells you what's coming next. What's coming next never surprises him, but it usually surprises us. But God is preparing us for those surprises we can't yet see.
Wow, that is so true.
Yeah.
So hang on.
Yeah.
You know, buckle your seatbelt. Go for the ride.
Good advice.
All right, let's take a look at some of the top stories on this Friday morning. Kind of an interesting one before we get into the stuff in the Middle East, and that is Minnesota is got a lot of problems, and Governor Walz up there's got a ton of problems, and they're going after him. I mean, everything this guy has done apparently gets exposed as being a fraud, and it's well beyond $19 billion in fraud.
Wow.
And to think he could have been vice president.
Oh my goodness.
Well, in the meantime, the Minnesota legislature, the Democrats there, swift down and protected the governor because he was up for a censure vote and an impeachment vote, and they came in and blocked it. Now, look, this is politics in the raw, but I got to tell you that what's happening with the Attorney General and the governor in the state of Minnesota, it's just a matter of time.
Oh, okay.
And the other thing is, it's $19 billion that we know of there. They're saying it could be $40 to $60 billion in California.
Oh my gosh. Wow.
They're uncovering the fraud. It started with COVID. It goes through all kinds of medical things and everything else like that. But they're sniffing it out.
Good.
Boy, but they caught the Attorney General and the governor in bald-faced lies, and the Democrats came in and swept in and protected them. Unbelievable. Well, the president is saying that Iran totally agreed to give up nuclear ambitions. Now, that's the headlines this morning.
Wow.
I don't know if that's true.
Right.
The president is lining things up, and it looks like that they're heading into Pakistan this weekend for further talks. Other things that are happening, more allies are coming to the Strait of Hormuz to get involved in that. This really is it's amazing that the president has outmaneuvered everybody.
Yeah.
And the only thing I can say is that it's heading in the right direction, and here's what the president had to say.
We're focused so much right now in Iran, seeing if we can get that completed. And I think we're going to be and I think if you look, the stock market is good, the oil prices are coming down, and it's looking very good that we're going to make a deal with Iran, and it's going to be a good deal. It's going to be a deal with no nuclear weapon. We have a statement, very powerful statement, that they will not have, beyond 20 years, that they will not have nuclear weapons. That's beyond. There's no 20-year limit.
Okay, so if it actually is coming down to where they have agreed, then you have to qualify that agreement. Do you go in? Are you allowed to go in and take the enriched uranium out? I mean, you're dealing with liars.
Right.
All right, so how do you deal with a liar? Okay, and so... but the last thing that we heard just a little while ago, the president is considering hopping on Air Force One and running over to Pakistan for the weekend. I guess he's eating some Pakistani food over there.
Okay.
But anyway, we'll see what happens. But this is good news if it is the case. I don't know how you qualify. And what the president would be considered satisfied that they've been denuked.
Yeah, well, I think possession of the material would be one thing.
That would be huge.
Yeah, yeah. And let me ask you this about our allies in Great Britain and France, who the leaders are meeting to put their own plan together to get the Strait of Hormuz open. The article I'm reading has a headline that says, Starmer and Macron accused of playing at being relevant with Strait of Hormuz plan.
Right.
Yeah, and I think that is the case.
Well, yeah, it's politics there.
Yeah. Yes.
Then why can't we use our air base in your country?
Yeah, right. Well, they are going to take part in this, and they said that they are non-belligerent countries, and they need to be involved in non-belligerent countries.
Well, they've been. You know, this is interesting. In the meantime, the king's going to come on over.
Oh yeah.
In May.
Yeah.
quote, soft power. That's
Okay.
what they call him, soft power, to deal with the president and say, hey, you know, we really are, you know, brothers and sisters here. Let's get along.
Okay.
But Starmer, look, this guy is out to lunch.
Yes, he is.
He is totally out. He's probably, he is, well, let's see, I guess it's not a good analogy, but I was going to say he's the Biden of the UK.
Well.
The only difference is that Starmer can finish a sentence.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, thank you.
Otherwise, it's really stupid.
Yeah, and you know, Macron's no better.
Yeah, these
right,
guys. And so
yeah.
anyway, we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
All right. In the meantime, General Kane, you know, Raisin Kane. He said, let me be clear. The blockade applies to all ships, regardless of nationality, heading in or from Iran ports. He went on to say that during the press conference, the Pentagon, alongside with the War Secretary Department, we are ready to resume full activity. In fact, we are better loaded now than we were before. In other words, don't mess with this.
Wow.
Now, think what they've done. They brought the third aircraft carrier into the scene.
Yeah.
They brought 3 more ships into the scene.
Yes.
And they got close to 15,000 troops sitting on boats out there ready to go.
Wow.
Who ever thought? Stop. Just think about that. Who ever thought Iran would be taken out?
Yeah.
And here we are.
Right. Yes, we never thought we'd have a president who would
7
actually
presidents later
be this bold. Yes.
And the risk.
Yes. And it's interesting. He's made a comment. He thinks that the blockade is doing more than the military action as far as bringing them to the table. There have been discussions about Iran using those little fast boats that they use, you know, to disrupt the flow through there. And Trump reminded them, you know, we know how to deal with fast boats. Look at the drug runners coming from South America.
Yeah.
We have a history of taking them out.
The other thing, that's target practice for the guys on the ship.
Yes. I think you're right.
It's just target practice.
Yeah.
So anyway,
interesting developments.
Yeah.
Yep.
I look. This is just amazing. What the president was saying is that the Strait of Hormuz being shut down it really hit their economic pocketbook. And look, they are running out of everything. The regime now is losing control because you're going to have starving people.
Yes. Yes.
And that creates a whole nother set of problems.
Yeah.
So we'll see. You know, somehow we got to have a. We will see what happens. That phrase.
Yeah.
That phrase is got to be memorialized on a T-shirt or
we'll
something.
See what happens.
We will see what happens. That's the end of every newscast. It's the end of everything the president says. It's even the end of what we say.
Yeah, exactly.
We'll see what happens.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, we'll see what happens when we come back. We'll be right back.
Since 1934, Grange Co-op has been more than just a store. We've been a cornerstone of our community, owned by people like you. We proudly offer top-quality farm and ranch supplies, including our own Rogue feed, as well as workwear, Western apparel, garden essentials, and pet care products. By signing up as a Grange Rewards customer, you not only enjoy exclusive benefits like special offers and 1% back on most purchases, but you also become part of something bigger, a cooperative that you own and help shape. Join Grange Rewards today.
Mornings on the Dove covers important issues,
but we also take the time to have some fun,
along with encouragement, the day's forecast, and Jerry's Day in history.
So start your day with encouragement and information.
Join us weekday mornings on the Dove.
When life feels heavy, your body feels it, your mind feels it. That is why I created Organic Elements Wellness Spa, a place where wellness is not a luxury, it's a way of life. Step into our wellness lounge with a Himalayan salt room, infrared sauna, steam room, and invigorating cold plunge. Restore your nervous system, detox your body, and clear your mind. Then experience customized massage, advanced skin therapies, and result-driven facials, all designed to help you look as good as you feel. There's nothing else like this in Southern Oregon. This is your space to heal, to reset, to glow. Call today to book your private wellness party for up to 15 guests or surprise someone special with a gift certificate.
Visit Organic Elements Wellness Spa on East Main Street in Medford. Book online at organicelementspa.com. Wellness is wholeness. Voted best of Southern Oregon.
Applegate River Golf and RV Resort, a pristine 9-hole course alongside the Applegate River. Their clubhouse offers a golf simulator experience. The RV resort is adjacent to the golf course with convenient pull-through parking. Applegate River Golf and RV Resort. Information at applegateRV.com.
Welcome back. 22 minutes past the hour. Quite a few things here I want to just get into. Last night was the first gubernatorial debate. It was the Republican gubernatorial debate hosted by the Oregon Republican Party. I'm kind of familiar with that. And so the main candidates were up there, and it was managed pretty well.
Oh, okay.
And there's a little clip from Christine Drazen and how the tone of it, I think.
All right.
I would say in some cases local governments are extraordinary and we need local governments to be in charge, and in some cases local governments are the problem. And they're out there with their hand out and their hand in your pocket, and they're slowing things down and they're driving up costs. We have got to address SDCs. We have got to figure out a way at a state level to recognize what our priorities are and invest in infrastructure. It's one thing to put the SDCs costs at the end of the project. It's another thing to make sure that those SDCs don't stop that project from happening. We have got to, across the board, recognize that Oregon is the problem. We are an anti-business state. Our taxes are too high. Taxes in Oregon on businesses alone went up 77% since 2019, almost double since 2019. We have got to wrap our hands around not just the timing of these permits, but the pace at which the regulatory environment is crushing all businesses, and we've got to address land use. I talk all the time about how important it is to bring people together and have that conversation, but we can't talk housing unless we also talk land use.
Yeah. So I was in and out of it a little bit last night, and my general assumption is that as I watched it, I said there's two really true Republicans in the race and one pro-choice rhino.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I think you need to be honest with yourself. We got to quit playing around with people who want to be, and they don't qualify. Okay. And so. But we are in a position in the state of Oregon, kind of like California is. California is going to get a Republican governor. It looks really strong that that's going to happen, and that's going to be the big shakeup. Okay.
All right.
We have a crack in the concrete in Oregon, and we can do this. We have the worst governor in the 50 states. Governor Kotek is ranked the worst. And as Christine was saying there, we've almost doubled our taxes in 6 years.
Oh,
we can't do this, folks, and we have a crack in the concrete. And my thing is if we don't get a Republican governor, it's for one reason.
What?
The Republicans didn't get out and vote.
Yeah, well,
and conservatives didn't get out and vote, and Christians didn't get out.
Right. Yes, amen. Yep.
So much for that.
Yep.
The governor, the Oregon School District wanted to squeeze a couple days out to balance the budget at the end of the year. Governor stepped in and said no.
Oh, okay.
Oh, that's a little bit.
All right.
Well, that's kind of interesting that she'd go against the school board.
Yeah.
Look, tomorrow is going to be a huge day in America.
What?
Over 500 leaders throughout the United States tomorrow morning will start reading the Bible all the way through in the nation's capital.
Yeah.
And here's a little bit of a video to kind of help you get a hold of this.
For generations, the biblical story of Nehemiah has echoed as a call to rebuild. Not just walls, but hearts. A scribe named Ezra, burdened by God, reawakened the people to their identity and calling through a national reading of God's law. Soon after, Nehemiah rallied the nation to fully rebuild their defenses in just 52 days. Today, America faces its own moment of decision, a culture adrift, leadership gaps across every sphere, families fractured, faith forgotten. In ancient Israel, it wasn't just Nehemiah who led. It was also Ezra, a scribe who stood before the people and read the word of God aloud. As scripture returned, revival followed. In 2026, as America marks 250 years old, a new nation of leaders will rise, Ezras for our time, calling the nation back to its foundation. From every state, every background, every walk of life. Government leaders, artists, CEOs, pastors, parents, ordinary Americans, united in one purpose: to read the entire Bible aloud, Genesis to Revelation, over 7 days, broadcast to the nation. People will watch it and hear the precious words in churches, in homes, in schools and offices, on screens all over, from rural America to our urban cities, nationwide. America reads the Bible. A public declaration that Scripture still speaks, that truth still matters, that God is not finished with America. From the World Stage Theater at the Museum of the Bible to landmarks across Washington, D.C., to other locations important to our national story, a week of Scripture, worship, and witness. This is more than an event. It's a realignment, a reawakening, a return. April 18 through 25, 2026. America reads the Bible. 1 week, one nation, one book.
There you go.
Fantastic.
Starts tomorrow.
Oh, my goodness.
And it's all over the nation. So you can tune in. You can go to the Read the Bible website. You can probably watch from the various places how this is going to come down. And let me just say one other thing before I get out of this. We know that the first Thursday in May is the National Day of Prayer, okay? But the president is declaring another day, May 17th, as a day of prayer and praise and rededication of the United States being one nation under God.
All right.
Now think about this. We're reading through the Bible this next week.
Yeah.
We're going to have the National Day of Prayer, and the president is calling for a day of prayer and praise and the rededication of America as one nation under God. Now, I'm hoping people can remove politics from this and ask yourself one question. What's wrong with this?
Yeah, right. Right.
There's nothing wrong with this.
Exactly, yeah.
I don't care who's leading it.
Yeah.
It's the right thing to do.
That can be the problem.
You know.
Right.
So anyway, so much from my
Yeah, you're
rant.
right.
All right, take a look at the satellite image. Here's what's going on out there. According to Jerry.
It's looking pretty good.
What's the Elk Creek Sucker say about this?
You're looking at a beautiful day today. It's going to be sunny skies, but only mid-50s. And then partly cloudy and some sunshine through the weekend, but getting up to 72 on Saturday. No, I take it back. Mid-60s today, and then mid-60s again by Sunday. But showers could be moving in by Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. But a good-looking weekend in front of us. You got any weeds you need cutting?
You know, weeds are us.
Weeds are they're all over, man. I'm telling you. But I'm going to get them all cut to the same level.
Oh, yeah.
And call it ground cover.
Call it ground cover.
Yeah, right. There we go. Well, Operation Epic Fury. Has it given the president leverage to demand a total end to the nuclear program and to proxy funding on the part of Iran? Well, former Iran envoy Brian Hook spoke with Fox News, and he thinks so.
Well, I think it's only worth going to Pakistan if it's very clear that the Iranians are willing to come to Islamabad to get serious about our red lines, which General Kane earlier talked about. I completely agree with his analysis on this. We now have the leverage to get the deal that we've always wanted, the deal that has eluded Presidents Obama and Biden. This is a historic opportunity, and I think President Trump has the leverage to get the deal around no enrichment, no centrifuges, no more of these long-range missiles. You have to stop funding proxies like Hezbollah in Lebanon and Hamas and all of these proxies that have killed so many Americans over so many decades. So I think the Iranian regime is likely to make some concessions. They just need to be the concessions that honor our red lines. And I think it's a very good sign that during this ceasefire, while we have been opening the Strait of Hormuz, that the Iranian regime has not attacked any of our ships. And that seems to me like they are trying to create good conditions to negotiate something with the United States.
That's interesting.
Yeah. Not to mention, I think they may be smart enough to know that if they did that, what would happen.
Yeah, I think it would be catastrophic.
Because there isn't much reserved for them.
Right.
You know.
Right.
They might end up with just a handful of firecrackers. Because everything else has been used up.
Yeah. Oh, good point. Yeah.
All right, 28 minutes before the hour on this. What do we have today?
What are we eating?
The crawfish.
Cheese balls and crawfish.
I'll go with the cheese balls and some crackers.
To go.
Okay. There's a reason they call you the Elk Creek sucker.
Mornings on the Dove covers issues affecting you.
But we also take the time to have some fun and laugh.
Sometimes that's all you can do.
And these days, we all need encouragement. Count on Mornings on the Dove to deliver just that from God's Word.
Along with the day's forecast and interesting stories from Jerry's historical archives.
So start your day with encouragement and information.
Join us for Mornings on the Dove. Weekdays on the Dove TV, radio, and streaming.
Come fall in love with Northridge Senior Living, where contemporary, sunlit interiors meet old-world elegance. Walk through our lovely hallways and enjoy the fun staff-led activities. Forge lasting friendships with other residents and our exceptional caregivers. Dine in style. Gather near the fireplace under breathtaking chandeliers. Our reasonably priced apartments are spacious with private balconies. Northridge is Christian-owned and operated, pet-friendly, and only 2 blocks from Asante Rogue Regional Medical Center. On-site, in-home care is available. We also offer senior adult daycare, where your loved one can spend the day with us, and the evenings with you. Northridge Senior Living. Your home.
Hi, I'm Ryan Robertson, host of a brand new program on the Dove, Ministries on the Move. Ministries on the Move spotlights the incredible work of how God is using everyday people and organizations, putting their faith into action, serving the hurting, strengthening families, and sharing the hope of the gospel in practical ways. Be inspired and discover these Ministries on the Move. Tuesdays and Thursdays at 4 p.m., right here on the Dove TV. Encouraging and informative. More at thedove.us.
Welcome back. 26 minutes before the hour. The president is saying a deal is being made, that they are agreeing, the Iran is agreeing to denuke. We'll see. That's the big common thing. Joshua Swanson with CBN News is talking about the Trump administration being very confident that the war is going to come to an end fairly quickly, and yet the sticky point is whether or not the enrichment of uranium will come to an end. So let's check in with CBN News Watch.
President Donald Trump says the war with Iran may be nearing its end, and he does not expect to extend the current ceasefire.
I think it's close to over, yeah. I mean, I view it as very close to over.
The president predicted what he called an amazing 2 days ahead as efforts intensify to reach a broader agreement with Tehran. The ceasefire is set to expire on April 22nd, and a second round of negotiations is expected to take place in Pakistan in the coming days. At the same time, the United States is increasing its military presence in the region as the Pentagon deploys 6,000 troops aboard the aircraft carrier USS George H.W. Bush and its accompanying warships. The continued buildup underscores the administration's dual strategy of diplomacy backed by the credible threat of force. Even as pressure mounts, Iran continues to stand firm on its position regarding nuclear enrichment.
We have emphasized that the Islamic Republic of Iran, based on its needs, must be allowed to continue enrichment.
Back in Washington, Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent announced a new phase of economic pressure, calling it the financial equivalent of military strikes.
Yesterday, we announced Operation Economic Fury, and we, for over a year, we have had maximum pressure on the Iranians both on blocking payments into Iranian state and going after the accounts of the IRGC. The other thing that we have done is we have told countries that if you are buying Iranian oil, that if Iranian money is sitting in your banks, we are now willing to apply secondary sanctions.
The Wall Street Journal reports the administration is reaching out to General Motors, Ford, and other companies about taking on production of weapons and military supplies. Meanwhile, in Israel, Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu announced that Israeli forces will expand a buffer zone in southern Lebanon while continuing operations against Hezbollah strongholds.
We're about to overcome the southern Lebanon town of Bint Jabel. We're in effect about to eliminate this great stronghold of Hezbollah. At the same time, I gave instructions to the IDF yesterday to continue widening the security zone.
President Trump says Israeli and Lebanese leaders are expected to speak today as he works to ease tensions along Israel's northern border. The president said he's trying to get a little breathing room between the two countries, though he stopped short of announcing a formal ceasefire. Israel is ready to return to war. So in spite of diplomacy moving forward, Israel is preparing for every possible outcome, and that includes a return to war. He says Israel remains closely aligned with the United States, of course, and its stated goals, particularly when it comes to Iran's nuclear program. Netanyahu emphasized that Israel wants to see Iran's enriched uranium removed completely and its ability to enrich uranium inside the country completely eliminated. That is the same stated goal, of course, as President Trump. So at the same time, the PM understands it's still a bit too early to know just how this situation will unfold. The Trump administration says it feels really good about the prospects for a deal. Iranian officials are signaling that there are still major disagreements. According to a senior Iranian official, there has been some progress, especially after a recent diplomatic engagement, which involved the Pakistanis, a Pakistani army chief, to be exact. He visited Tehran on Wednesday. That effort actually seemed to really help narrow the differences in certain areas and raised hopes amongst the Trump administration for extending the ceasefire and holding another round of talks. But key issues are still unresolved, particularly around the terms of a broader agreement. Of course, nuclear enrichment, as I just stated, the Strait of Hormuz, even preparations or reparations that Iran is asking the U.S. to pay since we started this war. So there's a lot of differences yet to resolve, but both sides are still continuing discussions, which is really progress when it comes to this region. Iranian officials continue to insist that they must be allowed to enrich uranium based on their needs, and they say that the point is non-negotiable in principle. So Israel takes the opposite side of that. They're arguing that no enrichment, period, end of story. So from Israel's perspective, that's a major concern because enrichment capability obviously is a pathway to a nuclear weapon. And that's why Netanyahu and other Israeli leaders are drawing a firm line. You know, you chant death to Israel enough times here in the Middle East, you have to believe that. So death to Israel combined with a nuclear weapon, that's a no-go. So a deal must include no enriched uranium domestically. Iran may have used a Chinese-built monitoring system, and it's called the T-01B satellite, for those of you satellite hounds out there. It was built and launched by the Chinese company Earth Eye Co., and it was acquired by the Iran's Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps in 2024. So Iranian commanders reportedly used this satellite to track major U.S. military sites. They captured images in March before and after the drone attacks and missile strikes on those locations. So this development comes as President Donald Trump said Wednesday that China has agreed not to provide weapons to Iran, even as concerns, of course, grow about the potential military support from Beijing. So Trump wrote on Truth Social that China's he's very happy. China says they're happy. They're permanently opening the Strait of Hormuz. Everyone's happy. And they've agreed not to send weapons to Iran, suggesting there might be a possible connection between these two issues.
Well, I was just thinking, listening to that, the other thing is that President, is going to China for a state visit.
Yeah.
And if the strait is opened up, he just takes with him a great bargaining chip because he controlled the straits and now China's going to get the oil back.
Right. Yeah. Good point.
Gosh, I wish. Anyway, I got to be careful here because people think I'm crazy.
Well, you've read The Art of the Deal, haven't you?
No, I did.
Yeah.
Not that I agree with it, but I read it. But you understand it better.
Right.
Now, do I like some of the tactics and the words? No.
Yeah.
But if you keep the end goal in mind,
Yeah.
Okay, that doesn't excuse bad behavior, but when you understand how this person operates, and I'm certainly not a pro on it, but I'm starting to understand it more and more. It's pretty interesting. Oh, so much for all that stuff. Let's take a look. Let's check in with the Elk Creek Sucker.
A look at our forecast from Grange Co-op. Today in northern Oregon and southern Washington, increasing clouds in low 60s in Vancouver and Portland, patchy frost and mostly sunny and near 62 in Wilsonville, and patchy frost and fog, then mostly sunny and 59 in McMinnville. Moving down the Willamette Valley with early patchy frost and fog, otherwise mostly sunny and near 60 for Salem, Albany, and Corvallis, and near 62 in Eugene with lows in the upper 30s. In central Oregon, increasing clouds and near 59 in Prineville, mostly sunny in Bend and Sun River with daytime highs in the mid-50s, a freeze warning this morning in Boise, Idaho, then sunny and near 55. Along the Oregon coast, patchy frost and fog in Coos Bay, then mostly sunny in mid-60s. Mostly sunny from Port Orford with a high near 60, through Brookings near 57, and Crescent City, California near 60. In southern Oregon, widespread frost before 8 a.m. in the Rogue Valley, otherwise mostly sunny in mid-60s for Grants Pass, Medford, and Ashland. Sunny skies in Klamath Falls with a high near 59. Into northern California, widespread frost and mostly sunny in mid-60s in Wairika. Sunny and breezy from Redding through Chico and Sacramento with high temperatures in the low to mid-70s. In the Bay Area, sunny skies across the region with daytime high temperatures in the low to mid-70s from Santa Rosa over to Napa, into San Francisco, and down to San Jose with a light northwest wind. It's a look at your Friday weather from Grange Co-op.
Oh, yeah.
It remind me a little bit of the Elko, Nevada cowboy poetry thing last night.
Now, if I could recite cowboy poetry, it would all make sense.
You could read it, but
yeah, I'd have to read.
I'm too old to remember all that stuff.
Well, I remember this actually on this day in 1961. Well, I don't remember the pouring, but I do remember the construction. Construction began on what would become one of America's most recognizable landmarks.
In Seattle, crews broke ground on the Space Needle, a futuristic structure built for the 1962 World's Fair. And they didn't waste time. After 12 hours of continuous pouring, more than 5,800 tons of concrete were poured into its foundation, delivered by 467 trucks, creating a base strong enough to anchor the towering structure against earthquakes and powerful Pacific Northwest winds. Standing 605 feet tall, the Space Needle was designed to withstand winds of up to 200 miles per hour and even major seismic activity. At the top, a rotating restaurant, once called the Eye of the Needle, gave visitors a slowly changing 360-degree view of the city. More than 60 years later, it remains a symbol of innovation and imagination. From a bold World's Fair vision to an enduring icon of the Seattle skyline.
It's beautiful. Yeah.
It's somewhat dwarfed now, though, because there's so many other buildings.
A lot of buildings, but it's so iconic.
It is.
It's got that look, and it's kind of Jetson looking. You know, it's got that almost like a flying saucer on the top. But I remember, too, and the reason I remember it, I was a little kid living in North Dakota. My grandma and grandpa Holter, my grandpa Holter had a brother who lived in Seattle, and they went and visited him, and they came back with all this stuff from this new thing that was being built, the Space Needle. And I thought, this is the coolest thing. I'll never forget it. And there it is, on this day in history.
All right, let's go back to this day in history, January 7th, 2020, Rush Limbaugh. And he looks at the Democrats' reaction to President Trump's policy with Iran.
But Brett Hume is senior political analyst at Fox News. And Shannon Bream asked him about the death of the Quds Force commander Qasem Soleimani. To set things up, she introduced and played a clip of me from yesterday's program.
I want to play a little bit of Rush Limbaugh today, talking about the reaction from the left in a number of quarters to the death of Qasem Soleimani, who is unmistakably responsible for the deaths of hundreds, if not thousands of Americans, thousands of other people of all ethnicities and backgrounds, but including, yes, American lives. Here's what Rush Limbaugh said today in talking with the president about reaction.
In the past 2 or 3 days since the attack on Soleimani, you literally have the Democrat Party and elements of that party openly supporting Iran, an enemy of the United States, openly supporting the terrorist actions of that country. And this is a country that beheads homosexuals and transgenders and has no human rights for the very constituency the Democrat Party claims to represent. I don't know what's arguable about that. I mean, the Democrat... All of these little millennials and these AOC types, they do think that Iran is superior. I've got a story right here. Ocasio-Cortez accuses monster Trump of engaging in war crimes over Iran threats. You know, Trump has threatened to hit their cultural sites. They don't have any cultural sites. Cultural sites are military installations. We already got rid of their cultural sites. It happened a long time ago. I'm half jesting here, but the point is that here you've got Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez accusing Trump of being a monster for engaging in war crimes in Iran. Another headline, AOC likes tweet from Russian state media claiming Iran doesn't target civilians. You know, so our good buddies, the Russians, are out tweeting that, I don't know what Trump's talking about, Iran does not target civilians. Well, they're only the Middle Eastern state sponsor of terrorism, and by definition, it attacks civilians. What the hell do you think a suicide bomb is? But here's Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez out liking and retweeting the Russian tweet that Iran doesn't kill civilians. So this is not an out-of-the-bounds thing to say, and the Iranians do. If they identify homosexuals or transgenders, they're dead. You talk about people having to live in the closet someplace in Iran. This is no joke about this. And the very people in this country who support all of that, these expanded lifestyles, out there praising Iran, it's just ignorant.
It's just ignorant. That's great.
Well, gosh, we miss that guy.
Yeah.
But look, he was gifted to communicate the facts, the truth, you know. And by the way, there's now groups of people in Congress, I think 8 of them now, are trying to create impeachment papers against Secretary of War Pete Hegseth for going to war in Iran without congressional approval. You know, that same old bunch of baloney.
Are they going after the wrong guy?
Yeah,
How can they go after Hegseth?
Well, you know, because they couldn't touch the president.
Okay.
So this is all they're going to do. But I think what Rush is pointing out there is the hypocrisy. But moreover, it's more than hypocrisy. These people actually believe what they believe.
You know, that's the scary part of it.
That they actually believe that Iran is superior to the United States. Yeah. I say one thing to them. Go over there and live 6 months.
You're right.
You're going to come home in a box.
Right.
And not to mention the fact that we just now found out that Iran, somewhere around 48,000 of their own citizens have been killed in 6 months.
Oh, but AOC liked and forwarded the Russian response that they don't target civilians. I wonder if she's had to eat that.
Well, put some cheese on it.
From a cheese ball.
From a cheese ball. We'll be right back.
Oh, my goodness.
Today, become a farmer with theDove. Plant a seed, help it grow.
Your gift reaches someone who needs hope.
Don't wait, join us in this harvest.
Let's grow something eternal together.
Give today at theDove.
Stewardship begins with the knowledge that nothing belongs to us, but everything belongs to the Lord. This helps us to run a business not in the fear of lack, but in the assurance of His care and provision. Such a perspective eliminates the drive to sell and replaces it with a heart that says serve. This begins with serving our clients and coworkers with integrity and genuine care. That's why McKelly's is automotive service with a heart for God, and treating others as we ourselves would want to be treated. Our promise is to never sell our clients anything we don't believe they need. Another is to do all we can to meet other needs, such as shuttle service and loaner cars, or taking the time to really listen, even at times praying with our customers. Sometimes this means sacrifice, going above and beyond. But that's why I work for Kelly's Automotive Service, honoring God while serving people with honesty and integrity.
At Sweet Tea Express, we've got you covered. Order at the counter and our friendly service staff will do the rest. Breakfast served daily until 2 p.m. Breakfast burritos, biscuits and gravy, skillets, omelets, and more. Sweet Tea Express. Don't get caught hungry.
This week on the John Ankerberg Show, we'll talk about the brave people that are bringing the gospel of Jesus Christ to their people using audio Bibles.
God is working through these audio Bibles. People hear the Word of God, and God, the Holy Spirit, uses that Word to pierce their heart. I am impressed with how powerful the Word of God is.
Join me for the John Ankerberg Show right here on the Dove TV. It'll be encouraging and informative.
All right, welcome back. 8 minutes before the hour, and there's more and more concern now that there was more than a contrived effort to get the president in earlier days. And Jerry's good friend Alan Dershowitz comments that Tulsi Gabbard's finding evidence of false narratives within the intelligence community to impeach President Trump during his first term. And here's a little bit from Newsmax on that.
If this were a criminal case, I would be in court today seeking to overturn the conviction or dismiss the indictment because government officials willfully and deliberately withheld exculpatory evidence. Had they had this evidence, I'm sure there are many Democrats who would never have voted to impeach. So the question is, this is not a criminal prosecution, it's impeachment. It's a constitutional procedure. And what's the remedy for it? And the answer is no one knows. No one knows. It's never happened before. We've never had a situation where a president is impeached based on withheld information which, if it was there, would not have resulted in the impeachment. So we have to consider all the options. One of the options is to go to Congress and to convene a committee in Congress asking them to rescind the 2019-2020 impeachment provisions because they were based on unconstitutional information. The other possibility, which is obviously a stretch, would be to go to the Chief Justice who presided over the quasi-judicial proceeding. I know, I was there. I argued in front of the Chief Justice. Had I had this information, obviously I would have made an even stronger argument. Now, we prevailed in the Senate, but we didn't prevail in the House. And so I think there's a strong argument for getting the House to undo its unconstitutional action.
Amazing. Amazing. And you know who's in the middle?
Stunning.
Yeah, and you know who's in the middle of all that mess, too? Our good buddy Adam Schiff.
Well, there you go.
How about that?
Well, you talk about a snake in the
I'll
grass.
tell you what, I don't think this is over by any means. With this new evidence, especially the exculpatory evidence that was withheld that would have cleared him, any other case, this would, as he said, he'd be looking to overturn the outcome. They should hear.
They indicted the president 34 times. They impeached him twice, and America still reelected him.
Yes, right. It's amazing.
Okay, so the only thing I can say is that the narrative of the left is falling apart. And if they ever really do uncover this, and they do finally expose the biggest snake in the grass, Adam Schiff.
Right.
But California elected him to be a U.S. senator.
Well, that's
which doesn't surprise me.
Yeah, it speaks volumes.
But the point being is that this thing is, in time, it'll all be out. And they'll be laughing at us because we didn't do anything about it. But it sounds like now they are trying to do something about it. So let's see what happens.
Yeah.
And you're always up against statutes of limitations.
Yeah, well, that kind of works its way in too, but boy, and I don't know how that applies in this. What is the statute of limitations of overturning an impeachment?
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, or some of the maybe illegal activities that some of the people around this impeachment were involved in.
Yeah,
I don't know. You're right though, because we've seen statute of limitations come in. It affected Comey in some of his activities.
Okay, so the line here is?
The line, I don't know. What's the line?
We'll see what happens.
We'll see what. Thank you for reminding me.
See what happens.
We will.
We got to get that as across the screen. When I push the button, we'll see what happens. All right, take with you 1 John 4:19. You can memorize this one. We love. Why? Because he first loved us. Show God's love today.
Applegate River Golf and RV Resort, a pristine 9-hole course alongside the Applegate River. Their clubhouse offers a golf simulator experience. The RV Resort is adjacent to the golf course with convenient pull-through parking. Applegate River Golf and RV Resort. Information at applegaterv.com.
Combining your home and auto insurance could save you time and money. And who doesn't like that? Want surprisingly great rates on auto, home, and life? Now's the time to call State Farm agent Rory Wold in Medford.
Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
At Sweet Tea Express, we've got you covered. Order at the counter and our friendly service staff will do the rest. Burgers, salads, sandwiches, barbecue platters, sides, and more. Smoked, grilled, and served to perfection. Sweet Tea Express, breakfast, burgers, and barbecue.
Hi, I'm the SOS Alarm guy, here to tell you about a great deal. SOS Alarm will not only beat any internet deal, but will install the system too. So burglars, beware. SOS Alarm for security and beyond.
Panoramic Moto Tours was born really out of my passion just to ride Gray's back roads and the scenic highways in our beautiful Northwest. God put it on my heart to share the experiences and invite others. More than riding beautiful roads, it's the camaraderie and fellowship. It's hearing each other's stories. It's being mutually encouraged on our journeys of life.
Riders can book one of our ready-to-ride guided tours offering the best of Oregon or Northern California. Or book a private custom tour tailored just for your group to destinations like Glacier or Yellowstone. For more information, go to
panoramicmototours.com or call me, Nick, at 541-622-3844. When you find something you love, you just want to share it.
panoramicmototours.com. Your next adventure starts here.
The Dove is shining with a brand new show, Season to Shine.
I'm Melinda Robertson, host of Season to Shine, a new heartfelt, inspiring program for women designed to bring encouragement, wisdom, and hope into your everyday life. We'll help you discover God's purpose in every season, empowering you to shine with confidence, faith, and joy. It's your season to shine. Monday, Wednesday, and Fridays at 4 p.m. on the Dove TV. More at thedove.us.
Unchanging truth in an ever-changing world. Turning Point with Dr. David Jeremiah. Wednesdays on the Dove TV. Encouraging and informative. You're tuned to the Dove. Encouraging and informative. Helping Oregon, Northern California, Idaho, and Nevada start the day with news and encouragement. This is Mornings on the Dove.
Well, good morning to you, and happy Friday. Notice how happy Jerry is this morning. Look at him. I had to put him in a seatbelt.
Yep.
You know? Hey, by the way, do you skateboard?
Do I skateboard? Not in a while.
Okay. I saw this new, it's kind of like soccer game with people on skateboard.
No way.
Okay.
Like skateboarding's not dangerous enough? You want to put a soccer ball out there?
What? But it wasn't a ball.
What was it?
It was a beer can. They're skateboarding around.
Full or empty?
I don't know. No, it was banged up, so it was empty.
Okay, empty.
And they're kicking a beer can through the goalpost.
No way.
Yeah.
Off of skateboard?
That would be a great one for Jerry when he gets his leg back.
Pam right now is screaming at the screen.
Yeah. So anyway, good morning to you. Happy Friday.
Happy Friday.
It took us 4 days to get here, and we're happy about it.
Yep.
Anyway, good morning. Beautiful weather. Look at the sun right through the window there. Look at that sun.
Oh, yeah. It's
okay,
it's going to be a nice day.
Nice day.
Yeah.
Chilly last night. Man, it was like 33 at my house this morning.
Yep. There was frost on my roof as I backed out this morning. It was white up there. I thought, uh-oh, it is chilly.
Yeah, you know it was cold when I had to pull the covers all the way back to get the dog out.
Yeah.
Just kidding.
That is cold.
Anyway, good morning to you. A lot going on in the news. We'll check that out for you here. Do we have a deal? Is the president going to Pakistan? Are they going to de-nuke? These are some of the headlines this morning. We'll talk about that in just a minute. What do you got, man?
Well, first of all, it is National Haiku Poetry Day, and that is a form of Japanese poetry. Basically, it encourages us to express our creativity. Now, I'm not much of a poet, but, you know, there are many ways to express our creativity.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, this is so weird that this is today's Poetry Day.
Yeah.
Last night, I'm sitting there and I'm on the iPad fooling around looking at things, and I came across the Cowboy Poetry Festival in Elko, Nevada.
Fantastic. All right. Yeah.
And of course, my dad had a ranch outside of Elko, Nevada for years. Okay, and so when we were kids, we went up there all the time and worked the ranch. But anyway, so I'm pretty familiar with Elko's. And anyway, they had this whole stage full of cowboy poets. And I got they were hilarious. and these guys get up with their big hats.
Yeah.
You know, and their buckles. Some guys just put a guitar over their shoulder strap.
Yeah.
And never played it. So it was like it was a prop. Like they were going to sing something.
Kind of like Elvis.
Yeah, kind of like Elvis.
Okay.
So anyway, but man, some of these stories, most of them did get put into music. They would write would write a cowboy poetry poem, and then they would sing it. And, gosh, it was hilarious.
They are fantastic. I love cowboy poetry. It's
really good.
Yes.
So, and you and I go back when we used to be on radio, and we actually played records.
Yes.
You know, and you used to set the record. So
I didn't. I never backtracked.
You never did?
No, I never did.
Oh, you had fast turntables.
I had CDs.
Okay.
Yes.
Well, Steve Johnson and I go back where you'd have to send so we learned what they call backmasking.
Yeah,
and you backmask. Well, now in rap music they just do that. So there's an old saying in cowboy music: if you play a cowboy song and you backmask it, in other words, you play it backwards. Okay.
Okay.
The cowboy truck starts. His dog comes home. Okay, and his wife likes him, and his horse is nice. But if you play it the other way around, all those things.
That's why he's singing the blues.
Yeah, there you go.
I love it. All right. Enjoy your poetry. Whatever form you use. It is also National Pet ID Week.
Okay.
And you know, it's important to identify your pet, and now everybody's getting microchipped, at least pets are.
Yeah.
And makes it a little easier to identify. And you know what? The other thing that's really good, now social media's got it's a double-edged sword. Social media. It's got some good aspects to it. It's got bad. You know, a lot of things are that way. Isn't it true?
Yeah.
But you know, and I go back to when we lost one of our dogs. He roamed away from home and didn't make it back. And it was social media where we tracked him back down. And we got old Mo back. So it works. And we didn't have him chipped either. But that's the new wave. Is it expensive to chip your dog?
Well, I don't know the answer to that, but I will say this: you got to have your dog, vaccinated and all that. And do the right thing. Yeah. I'm sure your vet can do that, but in fact, my dog's here today somewhere.
Yes,
and she's chipped.
And she is chipped, and my dog went in for surgery yesterday, and he's not chipped.
Oh.
And they asked if we wanted to chip him, and I thought, well,
let's see how the surgery goes.
Yeah, let's.
Let's see if Let's see if he's around next week.
Enough said. Okay. You hit it. So we paused. I didn't ship them yet.
Okay. Well,
okay, moving on.
Why spend the extra $25?
It's National. That's a great point. National Cheese Ball Day.
Okay.
Enjoy your cheese ball. Obviously, it's a soft cheese. Usually, all kinds of stuff in it, like sunflower seeds and whatever else you want to put in there. The only thing about cheese balls, you got to be a little careful with the cracker because you might leave cracker in there. So use the knife, scoop the cheese off of the ball.
Finger get in there.
Enjoy your cheese ball. And one other thing to eat, it is National Crawfish Day, a smaller freshwater cousin to the lobster, providing a unique flavor to many homegrown southern dishes. Baked or boiled, crawfish is usually seasoned with a distinctive brand of southern heat.
Okay.
Whatever brand you like, you put a little more on. It's really
you
good.
break them open,
yeah,
and then you suck it out.
Suck it out. Yeah.
And you've had some in Elk Creek?
We've had Elk Creek crawfish, yes, indeed. Man, we put a trap down there, and we scored big time.
And they're freshwater.
And they are freshwater, and we just...
Okay, but if you didn't break it off right, and you could be, sucking up some stuff that's...
Oh, no. No. Wait a minute.
Okay.
No, we're not doing that.
All right.
Okay, moving on. Nothing else to eat, but this is big. National Ellis Island Family History Day, encouraging families to explore their ancestry and discover any of your family who immigrated through Ellis Island. Now, Ellis Island existed long before it became the Ellis Island that we know today as a portal for immigrants coming to the U.S. In the early 1800s, it was a place where pirates and criminals were condemned to death. New Yorkers came to know the island as Gibbet Island after the gibbets or posts where the criminals were hanged.
Ooh.
It was then used by the Navy before it became a stopping point for immigrants. So let's welcome all our immigrants into this place where we used to execute people.
Wow.
And the first immigrant step through Ellis Island wasn't an adult. It was a minor, 17-year-old Irish girl named Annie Moore. And she came to the U.S. with her two younger brothers who were 11 and 7. Her parents and two older siblings had already traveled to the United States, and the whole family was reunited on New Year's Day, 1892. And originally Ellis Island was only 3.3 acres in size, but it has grown immensely. It's now 27.5 acres, and it's all done with landfill. So there you go.
Wow.
It's a great place to visit. If you ever have a chance, by all means, yes.
You need to do and take the tour and slow down and listen to the guide because there's so much history there.
Yes, and of course, I always reference the fact that there are a number of really good Ellis Island documentaries. You want to take a look, see the history of Ellis Island. But if you want to see what it was really like coming through Ellis Island as an immigrant in the early 1900s, just tune into Godfather 2. Make him an offer he can't refuse.
Yeah, there you go. Well, listen, there's a part of Ellis Island now that's been computerized.
Oh, really?
And you can put in your name to see if any of your family members came through the island.
Right. Yes.
And it's pretty interesting to see that,
Yeah.
especially if you know that you have ancestry that came from Ireland or wherever.
Yeah. And part of the problem, too, is, sometimes immigrants had weird names or they changed names.
Yeah.
Well, our name was changed when we immigrated.
Really?
Yeah, I was supposed to be Hanson.
Hanson?
Yeah, we were Hanson back in the old country. We came to this country and they named us for the area where we came from. It was a farm. The Bilden farm.
The Bilden?
Yeah.
Really?
Can you imagine that? So,
Jerry Hanson.
Jerry Hanson Bilden.
Is that, do you use it? You using it?
No.
Oh, okay.
No, that's nope. And you want to know the weirdest thing? I have been in New York City and I've lived in L.A. and New York, and I've looked in the phone book for another Bilden. There isn't another Bilden. But in my little hometown of Northwood, North Dakota, 1,000 people, there are two separate families of Bilden that aren't related.
Really?
Figured that one out.
What was going on at night?
I don't know.
Okay.
So, but you know what? If you go back far enough, we're all related.
Well, there you go.
Yeah.
There you go. Well, he does have a name. It's called Elk Creek Sucker.
A look at our forecast from Grange Co-op. Today in northern Oregon and southern Washington, increasing clouds in low 60s in Vancouver and Portland, patchy frost and mostly sunny and near 62 in Wilsonville, and patchy frost and fog, then mostly sunny and 59 in McMinnville. Moving down the Willamette Valley with early patchy frost and fog, otherwise mostly sunny and near 60 for Salem, Albany, and Corvallis, and near 62 in Eugene with lows in the upper 30s. In central Oregon, increasing clouds and near 59 in Prineville, mostly sunny in Bend and Sun River with daytime highs in the mid-50s, a freeze warning this morning in Boise, Idaho, then sunny and near 55. Along the Oregon coast, patchy frost and fog in Coos Bay, then mostly sunny in mid-60s, mostly sunny from Port Orford with a high near 60, through Brookings near 57, and Crescent City, California near 60. In southern Oregon, widespread frost before 8 a.m. in the Rogue Valley, otherwise mostly sunny in mid-60s for Grants Pass, Medford, and Ashland, sunny skies in Klamath Falls with a high near 59. Into northern California, widespread frost and mostly sunny in mid-60s in Wairika, sunny and breezy from Redding through Chico and Sacramento with high temperatures in the low to mid-70s. In the Bay Area, sunny skies across the region with daytime high temperatures in the low to mid-70s from Santa Rosa over to Napa, into San Francisco, and down to San Jose with a light northwest wind. It's a look at your Friday weather from Grange Co-op.
All right, beautiful shot. Look at that of the plaza, downtown Ashland. Isn't that a pretty picture? Wow.
It's gorgeous. Yeah.
Gorgeous.
Yeah, it's going to be a lovely day.
Lovely day.
A pretty nice weekend in front of us.
By the way, I just got a text from Doug Gould. I guess his dog's going in for surgery.
Oh, man.
And he said, well, I'm not sure if he's going to survive, but if he doesn't, I'll get him chipped.
Doug, I like your thinking.
Yeah, I got to thinking about it.
What?
I wonder if Peggy's going to have me chipped.
Oh! If you survive.
Well, I just, if I start wandering off,
Oh, what an idea.
It's kind of like, one of the app where you find your phone.
Yeah, find friends, yes. Chip me with a find friend chip.
Yeah, there you go.
Oh, my gosh. Oh, this is a good idea.
Oh, you might want to do it with teenagers.
Oh.
No, you know what? That could be I can see it now. Oh, you're promoting the mark. No, I'm not.
Yeah.
I'm just having fun
no,
on
we're just having fun.
All right, go ahead.
That's all. Okay, good. Well, it has been said that what God leads you to, He will see you through. And here with some great encouragement is Dr. Anthony George.
So have you ever looked at the circumstances of your life and not liked it and wondered, what am I doing here? How did I end up in this place? And what you need to know is God prepared you for where you are. You did not get to the place where you are without the preparation and the investment of a loving Heavenly Father who wants to give you everything you need for everything you'll face. And God never allows anything into our lives He hasn't given us the strength to cope with. God will never place a burden on our backs He has not prepared us to be able to carry. And God will never give us an assignment that He hasn't equipped us to fulfill. God is the God of preparation. He gets you ready. So whoever you are today listening to me, you need to know you are a prepared child of God. I just wonder if you'd say out loud, I'm prepared. Do you believe that today? You're a prepared child of God. And that means for what you're going through right now. But listen, it's not just that you're prepared for what you're going through right now, but right now He's preparing you for the stuff you're getting ready to go through, but aren't yet there.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Well, boot camp is for a reason.
Oh, yes. Yes. There you go.
Okay, let's check out some of the top stories today. 14 minutes past the hour. A little bit, excuse me about that. A little bit of a side note here. Minnesota has still got a lot of problems. Of course, you got Governor Walz there, his attorney general, and the state now is under investigation for over $19 billion in fraud. Well, the legislature was looking at impeaching the governor. More and more evidence is coming out that he lied, that he's involved with all of this trafficking of the fraud through welfare and all this stuff. And what happened? The Democrats moved in fast and circled the wagons and protected him.
Yeah.
So the only thing I can say about this, folks, hold on. This is the beginning. This is really messy. I don't know what Minnesota has to be proud of right now.
Yeah. Yeah. Now, let me ask you this. Now, this is state legislature rescuing him, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now, these are federal funds, aren't they?
Yes, and that's why the door continues to be open.
Okay.
So the state is circling the wagons to protect them.
Right.
Because they're like us. They're a blue wing state, and they're being controlled by the Ds.
Yeah.
And so they circle the wagons. But this thing is far from being over because the government now is going after this fraud. By the way, $19 billion in Minnesota is bad, but they're saying anywhere from $40 to $65 billion in California. Wow. And that's a snapshot. We don't know all the details yet. All right. The other thing is. Do they have a deal? The president has announced within the last several hours that Iran supposedly, this is what we're reporting, we don't know if it's totally true, that they agreed to give up their nuclear ambitions. What does that mean, and how do you verify it? You know, trust but verify?
Yeah, right.
How do you do this? Yeah. So the president could be going to Pakistan over the weekend. We'll see. But in the meantime, as the deal is coming together, and all of this is a result of shutting down the Strait of Hormuz, putting economic pressure on Iran. They're just basically broke right now.
Yeah.
And the regime is apparently saying, all right, it's time to talk again. They're asking for the peace talks, which is kind of interesting.
Yes.
The ceasefire is in place until Tuesday. They don't know if they're going to extend it yet. So they're using all of this pressure to bring him to the table. And here's what the president had to say.
We're focused so much right now on Iran, seeing if we can get that completed. And I think we're going to. And I think if you look, the stock market is good, the oil prices are coming down, and it's looking very good that we're going to make a deal with Iran, and it's going to be a good deal. It's going to be a deal with no nuclear weapon. We have a statement, very powerful statement, that they will not have beyond 20 years. That they will not have nuclear weapons. That's beyond. There's no 20-year limit.
All right, so the question is, where's the uranium, where's the enriched uranium, and how do you get it, and how do you verify all of this?
Yeah.
So we'll see, but so we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
and that's kind of, you know, there's one other little side note I want to make here. Have you noticed in politics, when you're dealing with foreign states around the world, everything was an agreement. Now it's been changed to a deal.
Yeah. Yes. Yes.
Everything in all previous administrations, the word used was agreement.
Yes.
Okay. Now it's been changed to a deal. Isn't it interesting?
Man, yes.
All right. General Kane, Joint Chief, better known as Raisin Kane.
Yeah.
He basically giving in his big news conference yesterday with War Secretary Pete Hegseth, and by the way, CENTCOM Commander Admiral Bradley Cooper spoke during that one. So you had the big guys up at the microphone. Basically, what General Kane was saying. Listen. Folks, we are so reloaded. We are better reloaded and better prepared than we were at the beginning of this thing. And they've moved another aircraft carrier in there, 2 other ships, and they have like 10 to 15,000 troops sitting on these ships offshore. Yeah. And if for some reason Iran burps, look, it's going to not be good. And have you noticed Iran hasn't really done anything stupid with the Straits? They haven't shot at anything.
Yeah.
Made any mistakes?
True, that's a great point, yeah.
So anyway, those are the top stories on this Friday morning. As if you like freshwater crawfish, happy sucking. We'll be right back.
Happy sucking.
Since 1934, Grange Co-op has been more than just a store. We've been a cornerstone of our community, owned by people like you. We proudly offer top-quality farm and ranch supplies, including our own Rogue feed, as well as workwear, Western apparel, garden essentials, and pet care products. By signing up as a Grange Rewards customer, you not only enjoy exclusive benefits like special offers and 1% back on most purchases, but you also become part of something bigger, a cooperative that you own and help shape. Join Grange Rewards today.
Come fall in love with Northridge Senior Living, where contemporary, sunlit interiors meet old world elegance. Walk through our lovely hallways and enjoy the fun staff-led activities. Forge lasting friendships with other residents and our exceptional caregivers. Dine in style. Gather near the fireplace under breathtaking chandeliers. Our reasonably priced apartments are spacious with private balconies. Northridge is Christian-owned and operated, pet-friendly, and only 2 blocks from Asante Rogue Regional Medical Center. On-site, in-home care is available. We also offer senior adult daycare, where your loved one can spend the day with us and the evenings with you. Northridge Senior Living. Your home.
Jerry, did you know that we're farmers?
Farmers? I knew there was a reason I like overalls.
At the Dove, we plant seeds of hope, truth, and the gospel every day.
And when those seeds land in the right hearts, lives change.
But every harvest needs more hands.
That's where you come in.
Today, become a farmer with the Dove. Plant a seed, help it grow.
Your gift reaches someone who needs hope.
Don't wait, join us in this harvest.
Let's grow something eternal together.
Give today at the Dove.
Well, good morning to you. 21 past the hour. And, well, last night in the state of Oregon, we had a Republican gubernatorial debate hosted by the Oregon Republican Party, which is great. And all the candidates were up on the scene, on the stage there. It looked pretty good. I was in and out of it a little bit. And the only thing I'd say is that it was well put together, well done.
All right.
And you can tell by the tone here, we're just playing a little bit of what Christine Drazen in response to one of the questions, but it kind of gives you the tone. It was very civil. And the bottom line is that our current governor, Tina Kotek, look, she's got a lot of problems.
Oh, boy.
And her ranking is like the poorest in the country.
Yeah.
And she's trying to pass millions and billions of dollars of taxes over the top of us, and it ain't going very well.
And she's only, raising it as much as she can. She wanted more.
Oh, gosh.
Yeah.
Horrible. But anyway, here's a little bit of Christine in one of the questions.
I would say in some cases local governments are extraordinary and we need local governments to be in charge. And in some cases, local governments are the problem. And they're out there with their hand out and their hand in your pocket and they're slowing things down and they're driving up costs. We have got to address SDCs. We have got to figure out a way at a state level to recognize what our priorities are and invest in infrastructure. It's one thing to put the SDCs costs at the end of the project. It's another thing to make sure that those SDCs don't stop that project from happening. We have got to, across the board, recognize that Oregon is the problem. We are an anti-business state. Our taxes are too high. Taxes in Oregon on businesses alone went up 77% since 2019. Almost double since 2019. We have got to wrap our hands around not just the timing of these permits, but the pace at which the regulatory environment is crushing all businesses. And we've got to address land use. I talk all the time about how important it is to bring people together and have that conversation, but we can't talk housing unless we also talk land use.
Well, good questions, good debates, and I would say it's narrowing down. And with all due respect, there's true Republicans there. One, I would have to say, is a pro-choice rhino, but the two that are there are well experienced. They know what they're doing, and if there's ever been an opportunity for Oregon to break the cycle, it's this go around.
Oh boy.
And the first thing you have to do is get out the vote.
Yep.
First thing you got to do is get out the vote. And the next thing you got to do is get out the vote. Okay. You have until next week to make sure you're registered correctly. And we have to get out in this May primary and stop this stupid gas tax. And we got to defeat this stupid thing. And that'll set it up to tell the governor to have a nice day and go fishing somewhere else. Okay.
Yeah.
So much for all that. What else did I have? The governor blocked schools. The schools wanted to cut 2 days off the end of the year to save money. She said no, finish it out, which is interesting. The governor went against the schools.
Yeah, that's interesting.
All right, starting tomorrow, nationwide for 1 week, over 500 key leaders across the country are going to be reading the Bible. That's right. The Bible is going to be read from Genesis to Revelation over the next week around the United States. This is the beginning of an amazing set of events. And here's a little bit of a video to explain it.
For generations, the biblical story of Nehemiah has echoed as a call to rebuild, not just walls, but hearts. A scribe named Ezra, burdened by God, reawakened the people to their identity and calling through a national reading of God's law. Soon after, Nehemiah rallied the nation to fully rebuild their defenses in just 52 days. Today, America faces its own moment of decision, a culture adrift, leadership gaps across every sphere, families fractured, faith forgotten. In ancient Israel, it wasn't just Nehemiah who led. It was also Ezra, a scribe who stood before the people and read the word of God aloud. As scripture returned, revival followed. In 2026, as America marks 250 years old, a new nation of leaders will rise, Ezras for our time, calling the nation back to its foundation. From every state, every background, every walk of life. Government leaders, artists, CEOs, pastors, parents, ordinary Americans, united in one purpose: to read the entire Bible aloud, Genesis to Revelation, over 7 days, broadcast to the nation. People will watch it and hear the precious words in churches, in homes, in schools and offices, on screens all over, from rural America to our urban cities, nationwide. America reads the Bible. A public declaration that Scripture still speaks, that truth still matters, that God is not finished with America. From the World Stage Theater at the Museum of the Bible to landmarks across Washington, D.C., to other locations important to our national story, a week of Scripture, worship, and witness. This is more than an event. It's a realignment, a reawakening, a return. April 18 through 25, 2026. America reads the Bible. 1 week, one nation, one book.
Well, it starts tomorrow, and thank God.
Yes.
I mean, this is good. Now, a couple other quick things I want to remind you. Coming up May 7th is the National Day of Prayer, and then 10 days later, on May 17th, the President has declared May 17th a day of prayer and praise and rededication of the United States to God. In other words, one nation under God, and that is the Christian God. And so good things are happening. Take it for what it is. This is good.
Yes.
And set who's leading it aside. This is good.
Yes.
Okay, good stuff all the way around. All right, let's take a look at Wall Street for this. Here it is. What is it? Friday already. Thank you, Preston over at Smart Lawn. That's one thing I don't have to weed.
Ooh, look at this.
The Dow's way up 749 points this morning. The Nasdaq jumped up 287, and the S&P is pushing 70. So I'm sure this is all over the fact that the looks like the blockade is working, and they're going to start talking again.
Yes, yes.
Gold's at 48.96, silver's at 82, and look at
crude oil.
Crude oil dropped to $89.
Whoa. Wall Street is responding to the news, I would say. And, you know, we look at the Operation Epic Fury. Has it brought Iran to the edge of collapse? Well, former U.S.-Iran envoy Brian Hook spoke with Fox News, and he said Operation Epic Fury has pushed them. Let's listen in.
Dana, I think there is reason for hope, and that's largely because the diplomats have been supported by, first, military pressure with the military campaign that ran over a month. Now, this conflict has entered an entirely new phase, which is now being described as economic fury. And that's really the successor to the maximum pressure campaign that was in President Trump's first term. I think this is tactically very smart. And that's because it comes at a time when the Iranian economy is on the precipice of economic collapse. Just consider some of these stats. Inflation in Iran is some of the highest in the world. It's running at around 50%. The currency has lost almost all of its value, and growth is at zero. The Iranian regime relies entirely on oil revenue to pay its military and to pay its government and to subsidize its people. Those oil sales generate $140 million in revenue per day. That's over. This economic blockade of Iran is creating a massive cash crunch for a government that relies entirely on cash. So when their diplomats go to the negotiating table, they're coming to it from a position of weakness, and our diplomats are coming to it from a position of strength.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
Well, there we are, and Wall Street's reflecting that. And if the president ends up going to Pakistan and making a deal, not an agreement, a deal.
A deal, yeah.
We'll see what happens. All right, so much for all of that. If you like crawfish, talk to him. And if you like, what was the other one we had today?
Cheese balls.
Oh, cheese balls.
Yeah.
Talk to me.
All right.
Be right back.
Your yard is where life happens, but it can be muddy and hard to maintain. Enjoy a maintenance-free artificial turf lawn all year round with Smart Lawn LLC. No mowing, no fertilizing, no watering. Our synthetic grass is beautiful and resilient. It's certified to be lead-free, and there's no need for pesticides. Safe for your children and pets. Smart Lawn LLC has all your artificial turf and putting green areas covered beautifully. 541-941-3538.
The 71.5 Golf Challenge arrives Saturday, May 16th with a 4-person scramble, morning and afternoon shotguns, and a 6:30 award social. Register your team by April 1st for an early bird special. Score the team player pack for just $20 instead of $100 with the code EARLYBIRDIE. Become a sponsor and help kids across Southern Oregon. Visit 715.org or call 541-779-3275. At the 71.5 Golf Challenge, your drive saves lives.
Being in business is challenging. At Network in Action Southern Oregon, we're all about real connection and real growth. We value your time with once-a-month meetings and believe in transformational relationships rather than transactional ones. We have 3 groups in the Valley, a Christian group, a Medford group, and a Grants Pass group, all filled with amazing local professionals. Network in Action Southern Oregon, so much more than just networking. Find out more at sonetworking.com.
Mornings on the Dove covers issues affecting you.
But we also take the time to have some fun and laugh.
Sometimes that's all you can do.
And these days, we all need encouragement. Count on Mornings on the Dove to deliver just that from God's Word.
Along with the day's forecast and interesting stories from Jerry's historical archives.
So start your day with encouragement and information.
Join us for Mornings on the Dove. Weekdays on the Dove TV, radio, and streaming. All right, 28 minutes before the hour. Are we close to ending the conflict in Iran? Well, things are heading in that direction. And the president is saying he's confident with the end, the war will come to an end. So let's check in with Joshua Swanson with CBN Newswatch.
President Donald Trump says the war with Iran may be nearing its end, and he does not expect to extend the current ceasefire.
I think it's close to over, yeah. I mean, I view it as very close to over.
The president predicted what he called an amazing 2 days ahead as efforts intensify to reach a broader agreement with Tehran. The ceasefire is set to expire on April 22nd, and a second round of negotiations is expected to take place in Pakistan in the coming days. At the same time, the United States is increasing its military presence in the region as the Pentagon deploys 6,000 troops aboard the aircraft carrier USS George H.W. Bush and its accompanying warships. The continued buildup underscores the administration's dual strategy of diplomacy backed by the credible threat of force. Even as pressure mounts, Iran continues to stand firm on its position regarding nuclear enrichment.
We have emphasized that the Islamic Republic of Iran, based on its needs, must be allowed to continue enrichment.
Back in Washington, Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent announced a new phase of economic pressure, calling it the financial equivalent of military strikes.
Yesterday, we announced Operation Economic Fury, and for over a year, we have had maximum pressure on the Iranians, both on blocking payments into Iranian state and going after the accounts of the IRGC. The other thing that we have done is we have told countries that if you are buying Iranian oil, that if Iranian money is sitting in your banks, we are now willing to apply secondary sanctions.
The Wall Street Journal reports the administration is reaching out to General Motors, Ford, and other companies about taking on production of weapons and military supplies. Meanwhile, in Israel, Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu announced that Israeli forces will expand a buffer zone in southern Lebanon while continuing operations against Hezbollah strongholds.
We're about to overcome the southern Lebanon town of Bint Jabel. We're in effect about to eliminate this great stronghold of Hezbollah. At the same time, I gave instructions to the IDF yesterday to continue widening the security zone.
President Trump says Israeli and Lebanese leaders are expected to speak today as he works to ease tensions along Israel's northern border. The president said he's trying to get a little breathing room between the two countries, though he stopped short of announcing a formal ceasefire. Israel is ready to return to war. So in spite of diplomacy moving forward, Israel is preparing for every possible outcome, and that includes a return to war. He says Israel remains closely aligned with the United States, of course, and its stated goals, particularly when it comes to Iran's nuclear program. Netanyahu emphasized that Israel wants to see Iran's enriched uranium removed completely and its ability to enrich uranium inside the country completely eliminated. That is the same stated goal, of course, as President Trump. So at the same time, the PM understands it's still a bit too early to know just how this situation will unfold. The Trump administration says it feels really good about the prospects for a deal. Iranian officials are signaling that there are still major disagreements. According to a senior Iranian official, there has been some progress, especially after a recent diplomatic engagement, which involved the Pakistanis, a Pakistani army chief, to be exact. He visited Tehran on Wednesday. That effort actually seemed to really help narrow the differences in certain areas and raised hopes amongst the Trump administration for extending the ceasefire and holding another round of talks. But key issues are still unresolved, particularly around the terms of a broader agreement. Of course, nuclear enrichment, as I just stated, the Strait of Hormuz, even preparations or reparations that Iran is asking the U.S. to pay since we started this war. So there's a lot of differences yet to resolve, but both sides are still continuing discussions, which is really progress when it comes to this region. Iranian officials continue to insist that they must be allowed to enrich uranium based on their needs, and they say that the point is non-negotiable in principle. So Israel takes the opposite side of that. They're arguing that no enrichment, period, end of story. So from Israel's perspective, that's a major concern because enrichment capability obviously is a pathway to a nuclear weapon. And that's why Netanyahu and other Israeli leaders are drawing a firm line. You know, you chant death to Israel enough times here in the Middle East, you have to believe that. So death to Israel combined with a nuclear weapon, that's a no-go. So a deal must include no enriched uranium domestically. Iran may have used a Chinese-built monitoring system, and it's called the T-01B satellite, for those of you satellite hounds out there. It was built and launched by the Chinese company Earth Eye Co., and it was acquired by the Iran's Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps in 2024. So Iranian commanders reportedly used this satellite to track major U.S. military sites. They captured images in March before and after the drone attacks and missile strikes on those locations. So this development comes as President Donald Trump said Wednesday that China has agreed not to provide weapons to Iran, even as concerns, of course, grow about the potential military support from Beijing. So Trump wrote on Truth Social that China's he's very happy. China says they're happy. They're permanently opening the Strait of Hormuz. Everyone's happy. And they've agreed not to send weapons to Iran, suggesting there might be a possible connection between these two issues.
Well, okay.
Yeah.
So you think of what's ahead. The president's going to go to China for a state visit. He's got China crunched by buying oil at full prices, but not from Iran at the moment.
Right.
He's got Iran on its knees. Venezuela is now a friend.
Yeah.
Cuba's going to fall into our lap.
Right. And also Venezuela not shipping discounted oil to China.
There you go.
This is very interesting developments.
It is.
Yep.
Wow. I like a big wow.
Yeah.
Like this guy that does the weather. He's a wow.
Oh, no.
A look at our forecast from Grange Co-op. Today in northern Oregon and southern Washington, increasing clouds in low 60s in Vancouver and Portland, patchy frost and mostly sunny and near 62 in Wilsonville, and patchy frost and fog, then mostly sunny and 59 in McMinnville. Moving down the Willamette Valley with early patchy frost and fog, otherwise mostly sunny and near 60 for Salem, Albany, and Corvallis, and near 62 in Eugene with lows in the upper 30s. In Central Oregon, increasing clouds and near 59 in Prineville, mostly sunny in Bend and Sun River with daytime highs in the mid-50s, a freeze warning this morning in Boise, Idaho, then sunny and near 55. Along the Oregon coast, patchy frost and fog in Coos Bay, then mostly sunny in mid-60s. Mostly sunny from Port Orford with a high near 60, through Brookings near 57, and Crescent City, California near 60. In southern Oregon, widespread frost before 8 a.m. in the Rogue Valley, otherwise mostly sunny in mid-60s for Grants Pass, Medford, and Ashland. Sunny skies in Klamath Falls with a high near 59. Into northern California, widespread frost and mostly sunny in mid-60s in Wairika. Sunny and breezy from Redding through Chico and Sacramento with high temperatures in the low to mid-70s. In the Bay Area, sunny skies across the region with daytime high temperatures in the low to mid-70s from Santa Rosa over to Napa, into San Francisco, and down to San Jose with a light northwest wind. It's a look at your Friday weather from Grange Co-op.
Yeah, that's pretty nice.
Yes, sir. We're going to tell you a little cowboy story here.
Oh, I can't wait. Well, it was on this day in 1961 that construction began on what would become one of America's most recognizable landmarks. In Seattle, crews broke ground on the Space Needle, a futuristic structure built for the 1962 World's Fair. And they didn't waste time. After 12 hours of continuous pouring, more than 5,800 tons of concrete were poured into its foundation, delivered by 467 trucks, creating a base strong enough to anchor the towering structure against earthquakes and powerful Pacific Northwest winds. Standing 605 feet tall, the Space Needle was designed to withstand winds of up to 200 miles per hour and even major seismic activity. At the top, a rotating restaurant, once called the Eye of the Needle, gave visitors a slowly changing 360-degree view of the city. More than 60 years later, it remains a symbol of innovation and imagination. From a bold World's Fair vision to an enduring icon of the Seattle skyline. Going strong, yep, going strong.
If you ever take the ferry,
yes,
from Seattle, out to say Port Angeles or one of those other places, and you leave the city and you look back, there's that beautiful Ferris wheel down on the waterfront.
Yep.
And then there's the Needle.
Yep.
So
Fabulous.
iconic, and to see it in the evening when it's all lit up, it's just beautiful.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we played a little bit of a Rush Limbaugh story in the first hour, and here's a follow-up to it. This is Rush Limbaugh during President Trump's first term, and he's talking to Brit Hume. Actually, he's playing the soundbite of Brit Hume talking about Rush Limbaugh response to the Democrats of the president taking out.
Okay.
You got all that?
No.
I didn't expect you to.
Okay.
All right, here's Rush.
So anyway, here's Brit Hume's response to that soundbite.
The trouble with that is that it's like a lot of stuff you hear is he has the point in the sense that the Democratic Party does not seem to be at all happy, broadly speaking, about the death of this terrorist mastermind whose departure from this earth will weaken Iran and its terrorist ambitions. But at the same time, it is not quite fair to say that the Democratic Party is openly supporting Iran. That's too strong. They have been weak in supporting our president, to be sure, but openly supporting Iran, too strong.
Well, maybe the tweets that I saw over the weekend I didn't see. And maybe the caterwauling from elected Democrats over the weekend that I saw, maybe they didn't happen. I just don't pull this stuff out of my top hat. Don't even have one of those. I don't pull it out of my back pocket and just throw it out there. In fact, this isn't anything new. Back when Mahmoud Ahmadinejad was the president of Iran, you couldn't tell the difference between what he was saying about Bush and what the Democrats were saying about Bush. Well, anyway, we thought we would play a little game here. We're going to go side by side, A-B comparison. And you tell me if I may be overstating that. Up first is Javad Zarif. He is the Iranian foreign minister. He was on CNN this morning, said this about Trump's warning to Iran if they attack the United States.
Attacking cultural sites is a war crime. But has he made U.S. more secure? Do Americans feel more secure? Are Americans welcome today in this region? Do they feel welcome?
And here is Democrat presidential candidate Pocahontas Warren.
We now have a president who is tweeting threats of war crimes. We've had to pull all of the Americans out of the area, all the civilians. This is not making America safer.
Iranian or Democrat? You decide. And let's do another one. Here's Bernie Sanders last night on CNN. Anderson Cooper questioned Senator Chris Murphy of Connecticut tweeted that targeting cultural sites is what terrorists do. Do you agree with it?
It is a war crime. And to be learning from the Taliban about destroying cultural sites is unbelievable. And the idea of spending trillions of dollars more on an endless war in Iran is, to me, just beyond comprehension.
Okay, here's another soundbite. Is this a Democrat or is this an Iranian?
He is prepared to commit war crimes. He has killed people of this region. He has spent $1 trillion. He said that the U.S. had wasted $7 trillion in our region. He has added another $1 trillion. Is the United States more secure today because of that?
Well, gosh, I miss that guy.
Oh, God.
He just had a handle on it.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, here we are, almost 6 years later, and look what we're doing.
Yeah, yep.
Okay.
And it's getting done.
Somewhere along the line, I need to find the clip when Donald Trump was on Oprah Winfrey's show. He was very young, and he was talking about Iran. And I want to say this carefully because I don't throw this out loosely, but for where we are today and what he was talking about then, this would have been probably back in the 70s.
Okay.
It now would have to be looked upon as being prophetic.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
He said there were problems, they're evil, they need to be taken out. It's a matter of time we will be at war with Iran. And here we are all these years later, he's president of the United States and we're at war with Iran.
Yeah.
For this very same reason that he said clear back then.
Yeah, yeah.
It's stunning. So is Jerry. We'll take a break.
Today, become a farmer with the Dove. Plant a seed, help it grow.
Your gift reaches someone who needs hope.
Don't wait, join us in this harvest.
Let's grow something eternal together.
Give today at the Dove.
When life feels heavy, your body feels it, your mind feels it. That is why I created Organic Elements Wellness Spa, a place where wellness is not a luxury, it's a way of life. Step into our wellness lounge with a Himalayan salt room, infrared sauna, steam room, and invigorating cold plunge. Restore your nervous system, detox your body, and clear your mind. Then experience customized massage, advanced skin therapies, and result-driven facials, all designed to help you look as good as you feel. There's nothing else like this in Southern Oregon. This is your space to heal, to reset, to glow. Call today to book your private wellness party for up to 15 guests or surprise someone special with a gift certificate.
Visit Organic Elements Wellness Spa on East Main Street in Medford. Book online at organicelementspa.com. Wellness is wholeness. Voted best of Southern Oregon.
Applegate River Golf and RV Resort, a pristine 9-hole course alongside the Applegate River. Their clubhouse offers a golf simulator experience. The RV Resort is adjacent to the golf course with convenient pull-through parking. Applegate River Golf and RV Resort. Information at applegaterv.com.
Welcome back, 11 minutes before the hour. Well, now there's another little stir.
What?
Washington is now saying, why did we overlook or not allow certain evidence to come into play during some of the presidential impeachments of Donald Trump? Why was some of this evidence kept out?
The exculpatory evidence that would have cleared him.
Would have cleared him.
Right.
So it got tangled up in the legal system and never made it to the courtroom. Okay.
Yes.
And so Newsmax, Bianca, this is across America, the show there on Newsmax, Alan Dershowitz talks about that, because had this stuff been presented, it probably would have stopped the impeachment.
Oh, absolutely.
So the question is, why was it so obvious, but it was withheld? And why did the judge allow that to happen? Here's Alan Dershowitz.
Well, one of the things we have to do is to hold accountable the people who failed to produce the evidence. And I think there is some effort now to hold these people accountable. There's been some talk about further investigation, possible criminal prosecution. If it was a deliberate withholding of evidence, it's an obstruction of justice. So I think the best way to prevent it from happening is to use deterrence, and that is go after the people who did it this time, make them pay a very heavy price, send a message to the people who might do it next time, saying this is not cost-free. The other possibility, of course, is to try to go to Congress and try to get a declaration from Congress rescinding the original impeachment. Again, never done, but this is a good case for it. They will do it. If the Democrats control Congress, they will impeach the president again. They're also trying to invoke the 25th Amendment, which is so absurd. 25th Amendment was intended to go after people, remove presidents who have had strokes or who are physically unable, but they're using it politically. So the Democrats will use anything available to them, whether it's a false impeachment or false 25th Amendment. And that has to stop. And the ultimate judge of all this is
definitely.
Wow. Okay. I will say one thing. If the Republicans lose the midterm election, over one thing. One thing.
What?
Cynicism.
Oh.
And the reason I say that, I cannot believe that the Republicans aren't more fired up about who they are and what they believe. And what's being done.
Yes.
But there's this spirit, this evil spirit out there that says, why bother? The Democrats are going to take over, because it always has happened.
It has always
You need to get that out of your head.
Yes.
Because the proof of the pudding is here. All we have to do is show up and vote. And especially Christians. Get out of your chair, get registered to vote, and vote. So much for that, because it's Friday and I want to have a good weekend.
It's going to be a good weekend. Don't worry about it.
I'm going to go suck a crawfish. And I don't even like them.
Put some Tabasco on it. You'll like it. I guarantee it. A lot of it. Okay. Well, a Texas courtroom recently became the setting for something far more powerful than just a legal proceeding.
On February 20th, inside the 321st District Court, 11-year-old Kane Coles was officially adopted, marking the end of a 2-year journey in foster care and the beginning of a forever family. But what made the moment unforgettable was who showed up. Nearly 45 of Kane's classmates from Bell Elementary School packed the courtroom, standing beside their friend as the adoption was finalized. In total, about 100 family members and supporters filled the room with cheers and emotion. Judge Robert Wilson made it official and approved Kane's request for a new name, Alexander Kane Johnson. His new parents say he's a joy, kind, and always ready to help. And Kane says he's grateful, not just for his family, but for the friends who stood by him on his big day. By the end of the ceremony, one young boy didn't just leave with a new name. He left with a home, a future, and an entire room full of people cheering him on.
How about
a new hat.
And a new hat. That's a nice looking hat, too. And his whole classroom of classmates showed up and cheered him on. That was fantastic. And you know what this brings to mind, too? You know, we just saw the gubernatorial candidates here, the Republican side for in Oregon. And we look at the adoption issues and the foster care issues that have really popped up in Oregon. And if you are a family of faith here, you're not going to be able to adopt or foster. Especially if you express your Christian views. They're going to withhold. So my question to the candidates, what are you going to do about it?
Yeah. Well, I've interviewed Christine, I've interviewed Chris Dudley, and coming up in just a few moments, you'll hear my interview. I just did this yesterday with Ed Deal.
Oh, good.
And he serves in the House. He's a representative in the House, a businessman, sharp guy, and so you'll hear my interview with him coming up a little bit. So we had some very good candidates running for governor, and the climate has never been better. It's just whether or not Oregon's going to show up and vote.
Yeah.
And let me just say this again. Dave Crow, my good buddy Dave Crow, he does these numbers, and we're on the phone all the time. And I can tell you this, folks, if you take the 36 counties in the state of Oregon, granted the northern ones are really liberal, but even if those conservatives come out, if Christians who are eligible to vote will register and vote, we win. And but the numbers have always been around 50 to 53% turnout among Christians. I don't know. I just don't understand that. Don't sit on your, quit leaning on your shovel and pray for a hole. Start digging.
Yes.
You know.
How do you cut through the cynicism?
Well, they got it. You look. We believe in a God that does miracles. You need to pray and you need to be involved. Pray and then do nothing is kind of useless.
Yes.
You know?
Right.
Anyway, don't get me going.
No, it's good.
I get these emails from people that think I should take a... Anyway, take with you first...
Delete.
Ding! 1 John 4:9. We love. Why? Why do we love people? Because he first loved us. You really want to change the world today? Love somebody that you normally wouldn't love today.
All right.
Since 1934, Grange Co-op has been more than just a store. We've been a cornerstone of our community, owned by people like you. We proudly offer top-quality farm and ranch supplies, including our own Rogue feed, as well as workwear, Western apparel, garden essentials, and pet care products. By signing up as a Grange Rewards customer, you not only enjoy exclusive benefits like special offers and 1% back on most purchases, but you also become part of something bigger, a cooperative that you own and help shape. Join Grange Rewards today.
Mornings on the Dove covers important issues,
but we also take the time to have some fun.
Along with encouragement, the day's forecast, and Jerry's Day in history.
So start your day with encouragement and information.
Join us weekday mornings on the Dove.
The Lennox iComfort S30 thermostat can sense changes in your environment. It even knows when you come and go. So now your home's most important system is also the smartest.
Metal Masters can give you the smartest home comfort system available. It knows when you're away and adjusts when allergens and humidity get uncomfortable. Trust Metal Masters to provide perfect air for your family.
Lennox. Air is life. Make it perfect.
Stewardship begins with the knowledge that nothing belongs to us, but everything belongs to the Lord. This helps us to run a business not in the fear of lack, but in the assurance of His care and provision. Such a perspective eliminates the drive to sell and replaces it with a heart that says serve. This begins with serving our clients and coworkers with integrity and genuine care. That's why at Kelly's, it's automotive service with a heart for God and treating others as we ourselves would want to be treated. Our promise is to never sell our clients anything we don't believe they need. Another is to do all we can to meet other needs, such as shuttle service and loaner cars, or taking the time to really listen, even at times praying with our customers. Sometimes this means sacrifice, going above and beyond, but that's why I work for Kelly's Automotive Service, honoring God while serving people with honesty and integrity.
Hi, I'm Ryan Robertson, host of a brand new program on the Dove, Ministries on the Move. Ministries on the Move spotlights the incredible work of how God is using everyday people and organizations, putting their faith into action, serving the hurting, strengthening families, and sharing the hope of the gospel in practical ways. Be inspired and discover these Ministries on the Move. Tuesdays and Thursdays at 4 p.m., right here on the Dove TV. Encouraging and informative. More at thedove.us.
Get the day's top news from a Christian worldview. CBN Newswatch, weekdays at noon and 4:30 on the Dove TV. Encouraging and informative.
Welcome to Focus Today. I'm your host, Perry Atkinson. Been looking forward to our guest today, Bob Livingston, a founding partner of the Livingston Group. Previously, he's been a distinguished Republican member of Congress from Louisiana. For 12 terms, he served in the U.S. House of Representatives. Before entering Congress, he worked as a prosecutor at the federal and state and local levels. He's authored a couple of fascinating books. The first one, The Windmill Chaser, Triumphs and Losses in American Politics, and his latest book, The Rainbow Chaser, The Man Who Gambled for Success and Broke Even. Wow, there's a picture of the cover of the book on the screen, and you can go to LivingstonGroupDC.com is the website, LivingstonGroupDC.com. Bob, good to see you. How are you, friend?
Very fine, thank you. Thank you very much for having me on.
You bet. Thanks for your time. Where are you? Where are we talking to you from?
Well, I'm in New Orleans today, and actually we spend most of our time in New Orleans, but I get back to D.C. a good bit.
Okay, good. Well, your book is fascinating, a little bit of a memoir and yet a little bit of a warning. What moved you to go after this?
Well, there's an old adage that says that a man is innocent until he's proven guilty. I found out that's not entirely true. If the United States government investigates you, all of a sudden you got to start hiring attorneys and paying extraordinary fees to make sure that they can't come at you or that they change their mind. And that's exactly what happened to me. And after being a congressman, actually a prosecutor for 6 years, congressman for 22 years, and a businessman for 25 years, we were engaged in a system of representing a lot of foreign governments, and we did it religiously. We followed the rules. We did everything we're supposed to do, and we thought we were abiding by the law. But one day, during the Biden-Garland administration, they started investigating me for an alleged violation of the FARA law, the Foreign Agents Registration Act. The problem was that we had represented a client in Ukraine, the lady that ran for president against current President Zelensky. She lost. We represented her for 10 months, showed her around the country, reported everything, every person that we're supposed to talk to, and that she spoke with. We abided by the law. But on the other hand, a Democrat firm represented her for 4 years, and they didn't report anything. Guess who got investigated? We did. And we heard they were investigating. They issued a subpoena for all our records and all our activities, our phone calls and all that stuff. It cost us a bloody fortune over 20 months to convince them that they didn't have a case. And I won. And it's much like what they did to President Trump, only they did it far worse against him and cost him far more money. But he beat him. But I was so furious at this whole operation. I knew that we were innocent, and I had to defend myself. Again, I had to prove my own innocence. Once I did, I got mad enough to write a book and discovered a whole bunch of people. Actually, I knew a lot of them who were prosecuted by this Justice Department, particularly under Biden and Attorney General Merrick Garland. And they were trashed by people like Jack Smith, the chief prosecutor for the Biden administration, and dragged through the courts. Their lives were ruined. Their businesses or political careers were destroyed. In some instances, they got divorced. And in a few instances, they were sentenced to prison and maybe even served some time in prison. But in the final analysis, in every instance, it was determined that these people weren't guilty. And probably the worst case I heard was Governor Bob McDonnell of Virginia. He was one of the most appreciated governors in the history of Virginia, far more than the one that's there now. And 2 weeks after he left office, that guy Jack Smith indicted him, prosecuted him, convicted him, And it cost him millions and millions of dollars to fight it all the way to the Supreme Court. And the Supreme Court threw the case out and said that there was never a law for which he was charged with, that there wasn't even a violation of law, that he shouldn't have been charged in the first place. And they admonished Jack Smith. Point is that there are a lot of people who have suffered miscarriages of justice. The January 6 people who were tried in terrible mock trials, but convicted and forced to plead guilty sometimes because they simply couldn't afford going through the process. It's a bad process, and what I hope is, Barry, that we can pass a law that says to a prosecutor, if you push a case without probable cause or without evidence, but simply because you are politically opposed to that person that you're prosecuting, you should be prosecuted yourself. You should stand civilly or criminally liable. Lavrenti Beria, under Joseph Stalin, said 100 years ago or more that his quote was, "Show me the man and I'll show you the crime," which means the government can make up a case against anybody if they really want to get them. But that's not the justice system of the United States. Justice is supposed to be blind. And unfortunately, in so many cases, justice is not blind. I'm a former prosecutor, and it would never have occurred to me to go after people because of who they were or because he was politically opposed to my views of life. And I think most prosecutors feel that way. Most prosecutors are good, decent, conscientious people who are simply trying to abide by the law and preserve the integrity of the country. But some of them are bad people. And if they exceed their authority, frankly, I think they should be held accountable.
Wow. So much here, Bob. Let me just back up and ask you a 35,000-foot view question about our judicial system. Are we in a judicial crisis?
Yeah, without a doubt. I mean, we've got a lot of judges on the bench who think that their role is to be judge, jury, and executioner and write the law rather than to rely on the law as written by the legislature. James Madison created a system under a constitution with checks and balances, and those checks and balances are only as good as the people in them who maintain them. We have an executive branch run by the president and executive agencies. We've got the legislative branch, and they're supposed to pass the laws, be in the states or in the federal government. And then you have the courts. And these days, you've got a lot of judges that ignore the legislative process. And in fact, they ignore the executive branch, and they just decide that they are the sole arbiters of the way the world should work. And it's very dangerous. And they get clamped down sometime by the Supreme Court, but not enough. And President Trump's rules, his executive actions, should be subject to judicial review, but they shouldn't be arbitrarily thrown out by somebody who's philosophically opposed to them.
Well, we all see this. We know it's lawfare. We've seen some rogue judges out there. What's been so interesting to me, Bob, is we've watched some of these federal district court judges begin to make decisions that impacted national activities. The Supreme Court comes down on them and says, stop doing this, but they keep doing it. And there's no consequences. So we had President Biden who said, I don't care if you say I can't forgive student loans, I'm going to do it anyway. And then you have the president, quite frankly, said, well, all right, you can tell me to stop doing tariffs, but I'm going to do it anyway. So there doesn't seem to be any consequence to the problem. I mean, I don't know. It sounds like we're really in a mess here.
Well, we are, and the only way to change things, frankly, is for the Republicans to gain control of both houses of the Congress and become dominant. They're not now. I mean, the Congress is so finely divided between the Republicans and Democrats, only by 1 or 2 votes in the House and the Senate, for that matter, that nothing can get done. And if Congress doesn't do its job, well, then the judges are free to do whatever the heck they want. And for that matter, yes, the executives, whether President Trump or President Biden, can thumb their nose at the system and do what they want. I think that's a danger, but it will continue until the American people decide that they've had enough. Do they really want the craziness from the hard left that seems to be gaining strength in places like New York and California and elsewhere? I can't believe that. And if they don't want that, and if they believe that the country should thrive in a free system, a capitalist system, then they are going to have to vote Republican. And if they just sit back, as you were saying earlier before I came on, and don't vote, that's not going to change things. American people have got to get energized. They've got to start voting conservatively and realize that the only way we're going to change things is to give the Republicans enough of a margin in the House and the Senate, as long as President Trump is president, to actually change the law and enforce it so that we just don't slide into the same oblivion where we see Europe is going right now.
It's a little bit of a shock to the system. They indicted the president 34 times, tried to impeach him twice. Okay, impeached him twice. And yet the American people reelected him. If he didn't personally have, I guess, his own law firm behind him, he'd be somewhere, certainly not sitting in the White House. So it seems to me, even the experience that you've been through, that if you have the fortitude, you can push back and you will win. But that doesn't say that they are happy about it and they're going to continue to do crazy stuff.
Yeah, the president had a lot of money at his disposal, and he paid incredible amounts of millions of dollars, many millions of dollars in legal fees in order to beat frankly, a misdirected Justice Department who came at him both in the federal and state levels. They came at me in a much smaller way, but because I had a lobbying firm, we were able to beat it as well. But too many people are just confronted with charges that they can't afford. Former Secretary of EPA, James Watt, was served under President Reagan's time. And he was charged by the Justice Department back then with 29 counts of felonies, 6 years after he left office and during the Clinton administration. And he fought it for a year, but finally he was convinced he just couldn't fight it anymore because he didn't have any money. He ran out of money, literally, to pay his lawyers. And so he pled guilty to one small misdemeanor. He felt he wasn't guilty of anything. The Justice Department had charged him with 29 felonies, and they reduced it to a misdemeanor. And you know they didn't have a case worth a darn, but he had to plead to the misdemeanor because he was broke and he was literally going bankrupt.
All right, let me take a quick break. Where can they get your book, The Rainbow Chaser?
It's in bookstores and Amazon and anywhere that they want to. The Rainbow Chaser is an account of what we went through and a listing of a whole bunch of other people who have suffered, like James Watt, like Senator Stevens of Alaska, whose case was thrown out after he lost the election, and the court said that the prosecutors were totally misdirected and chastised them.
All right, check it out. It's called The Rainbow Chaser, the man who gambled for success and broke even. There's a picture of it on the screen there. You can get it online. And then, of course, check out Bob's website, livingstongroupdc.com. And there's a picture of that landing page. We'll take a quick break. We'll be right back.
I'm Susanna, and I contracted KA Designs to do custom cabinets throughout my house. We chose a really beautiful maple wood that really creates like a nice airy space. Everything was custom, and it was really cool because I got to literally see it come to life in person. We love to entertain, and we have a large family, so everything came together perfectly, exactly what I wanted. I highly suggest KA Designs if you're looking to design your dream house. Go check them out in their showroom. You will not be disappointed.
Buying or selling a home can be stressful. It's one of the biggest decisions you'll make in your lifetime. That's why it's important to work with someone you trust, someone who has the right experience and knowledge of the market.
Hi, we're Patrick and Paulina Leiser with Leiser Real Estate Group.
And whether you're looking to buy or sell a home, our mission is to take the stress out of the transaction and make it as seamless and rewarding as possible.
Contact us today. We look forward to working with you.
Mornings on the Dove covers issues affecting you. Good morning to you. A lot going on in the news. There always is. We'll give you some recaps of the top stories of the day.
But we also take the time to have some fun and laugh.
Sometimes that's all you can do.
Well, that's pretty wise. And these days, we all need encouragement. Count on Mornings on the Dove to deliver just that from God's Word.
God is faithful.
You go by faith and facts or feelings, along with the day's forecast and interesting stories from Jerry's historical archives.
Changed the business of sports forever. Was being paid a staggering $25,000 a year.
So start your day with encouragement and information.
93% of Americans want voter ID. Join us for Mornings on the Dove. Weekdays on the Dove TV, radio, and streaming live at thedove.us, Roku, and Apple TV. Welcome back. What an honor to have with us today Bob Livingston. He's the founding partner of Livingston Group. He served in Congress now for 12 terms in the House of Representatives, former prosecutor, federal, state, and local levels, and he's the author of a couple of books, fascinating ones. The first one is called The Windmill Chaser, Triumphs and Losses in American Politics, and then his newest book, which really is kind of a memoir at the same time a warning, is called The Rainbow Chaser, The Man Who Gambled for Success and Broke Even. And there's a picture of the cover of that book on the screen. Bob does have a website, livingstongroupdc.com. Bob, I want to come back to a question I had earlier, just to drill down on a little bit. The Supreme Court has come down on some of these lower district court judges and said, stop doing this stuff, and they keep doing it. If there's no consequence, and why isn't there a consequence when the Supreme slaps your hands and nothing happens, then you kind of go, what are we doing here?
I think the problem is the fact that the Congress is so finely, evenly divided. Again, Republicans have a majority, but only by 2 or 3 votes now. If the Democrats take over, it's still going to be very finely divided. Democrats are not going to do anything about these errant judges who go off on their own and write their own law. So it's got to come from Republicans, and we've got to keep control in the House of Representatives because impeachments start there. If you want to really bring those judges in line, we need to start impeaching 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 of them. I noticed that there's the Supreme Court can overrule them and even criticize them, but they can't really get rid of them. And some of these people have just been so off the reservation that they deserve impeachment, and you're not going to do it with a finely divided Congress.
Okay, I totally get that. Okay, well, as you look at Boasberg and some of the things he's done, you look at the Attorney General from New York, you just shake your head and go, gosh, what a mess. So let me come back to rogue prosecutors. Why can't we go after them?
Well, I think we need a change in the law, and I have recommended it. And I don't. It's going to have a tough road in the Congress, but I suggest that when a prosecutor becomes rogue, when he picks out a person to prosecute without probable cause or adequate evidence, he just does it because he wants to hurt the person, literally, possibly to destroy that person. Frankly, if he loses the case, he just moves on to the next guy. He still has a job. He's still paid. He doesn't lose anything. Meanwhile, his victims have lost everything. They've lost their careers. They've lost their reputation. They've lost all their money. So I think something has to be done to waive the whatever immunity such a prosecutor has. As I said, I don't think it's very many prosecutors, but 99% of the prosecutors around the country are doing a good job to preserve law and order. But that 1% needs to stand civilly or criminally liable. If they build a case against like Jeff Fortenberry lives in Nebraska. He was a congressman, a wonderful congressman. He was one of the best experts on foreign policy and deeply religious guy. He got charged for a fundraiser at which he attended in Los Angeles 3 or 4 years after the fundraiser. Because a foreign national had donated to that fundraiser, and they said that the guy that Jeff should have known that man wasn't eligible to donate to that fundraiser. Well, he didn't even run the fundraiser; he just showed up, and what they did was to prosecute him in Los Angeles. And he lived in Omaha, Nebraska. As soon as they indicted him, he lost his job in Congress. He had to step down. So he'd lost his career. They prosecuted him, and it went they convicted him. It went to the Court of Appeal in California, and they threw it out on the grounds that it was the improper forum. And so the Justice Department, the Biden Justice Department, turned around and charged him again in Washington, D.C. He had to pay all the expenses of the first trial. Then he was going to have to pay all the expenses of the next trial. And it all turned out to be a fallacious suit. The prosecutors were way off base, shouldn't have charged him in the first place. And fortunately, the case was dismissed when President Trump's Justice Department took over. But that kind of stuff happens quite frequently. And it shouldn't. It frankly creates that cynicism that you were talking about in the American people. They begin to wonder, well, heck, if they can go after the most powerful guys in Congress, they can come after me. And in fact, they have. The January 6th thing was replete with situations where people had just walked by the Capitol and got charged, prosecuted, bankrupted, fined, and possibly imprisoned.
Okay. There's another case where they're looking into the fact that significant evidence was withheld from one of the impeachment cases of President Trump. Alan Dershowitz weighed in on this a couple of days ago, said the exculpatory evidence was never present or was hidden. And you kind of wonder, how does that happen, and is there a consequence for that?
Again, it's prosecutors not abiding by the law. There's a thing called the Brady Law, which requires that exculpatory language, exculpatory evidence has to be turned over to the defense. And that's exactly what happened to Senator Ted Stevens of Alaska. The prosecutors knew that they were holding back evidence. He wanted a speedy trial to get it out of the way so that he could go through with his election, but they convicted him on the basis of the evidence that they put in the case and withheld other evidence that would have acquitted him or shown that he was innocent. He was convicted. He lost his election to the Senate, even though the guy was a war hero. He'd founded Alaska. He had an incredible record. He was a wonderful man, 86 years old. And about 2 months after the race, after he'd lost his election, The judge threw the whole case out, admonished the lawyers for withholding evidence, just as you've talked about.
Wow. Let me take a way up view here. Lately, with the communication ability and the news cycle in America now is about 3 minutes. If something happens, we all see it, we know instantly. And a lot of Americans now are becoming aware of the fraud, the sham in some of this stuff. Certainly the mess that our judicial system is in. Do you think we get it enough to understand how serious it is to make the changes that are necessary?
Not right now. I'm concerned about the future of the country. I mean, the Constitution demands compromise. And we have a situation where the Democrats don't want to compromise. I mean, this whole issue of the Department of Homeland Security not being adequately funded. Well, it's in the law. It has to be funded. If they want to eliminate the Department of Homeland Security, they can take the majority. And when they get the majority and about the House and the Senate and the presidency, then they can have at it. But right now, they don't have that. They are the minority. And yet they're standing in the way of funding the Department of Homeland Security. And so they're just ignoring the system. They're making sure that the system doesn't work. And I wonder what their motivation is. I'm really concerned. Do they want to end this country that has provided more freedom and wealth, not only for our own citizens, but for more people around the world that have benefited because we are the greatest nation on earth? Do they want to just go the way of the Western Europe, which is really going in the wrong direction right now? Or worse yet, do they want to take us into the era of the Soviet Union or China and eliminate American freedom? The rights of the individual are at stake right now. And that's why these elections coming up are so important. Republicans got to hold on to the House of Representatives. And if we don't, frankly, I fear for the country.
What do you think about Bondi going?
I was disappointed that I didn't see more action from her. She overpromised and under-delivered on the Epstein thing. I personally didn't think the Epstein thing was the most important issue in the country, but a lot of people were concerned about it. Notwithstanding that, she said she had all this evidence on her desk and then nothing happened. That was indicative. There are some real issues about the culpability of those people who pursued President Trump to try to keep him out of office in 2020 and to keep him out of office in 2022. There was a conspiracy. There is no doubt in my mind. There was a conspiracy to deprive him of office so that Democrats remained in power forever. And Trump beat them. He beat not only his opponents, he beat that whole Democratic movement, which is now emerging again and with some degree of significance. I'm hoping that if the American people will wake up and realize that their own freedoms are in great jeopardy, that they go to the polls and make sure that some of these gains the Democrats have made in New York and California and just recently in New Jersey don't continue. Republicans need to control the House of Representatives. Otherwise, next couple of years, we're going to see impeachments and a lot of wasted time. They're going to do everything they can do to make sure that President Trump can't run the country. And the irony is, look at the successes that the man has had in Venezuela, I think soon in Cuba, but definitely in Iran as we speak. The Straits of Hormuz look like they're open, and that Iran is giving up. They can't win, and we have won. I think this is one of the most transformative presidents in the history of our country. But the Democrats are determined to cut him down any way they can, fair or foul, legal or illegal, and we got to stop that.
Bob, one last question. How did your faith sustain you through all your challenges?
I'm sorry, we just repeat that?
How did your faith sustain you through all your challenges?
I have to tell you, Barry, that I have become far more religious than I ever was in my life. I'm Catholic. I've been Episcopalian. My wife, I was actually baptized Catholic, confirmed Episcopalian, and that's a long story. But I'm Catholic because my wife is Catholic, and I think that's irrelevant. The fact is, I wasn't very religious until about the last 10 years, and now I'm convinced that the good Lord is looking after not only me and has pulled me through some really disastrous situations, but I think he's looking after this country. And that's why I have faith that we do have better days ahead. I think we're on the cusp of having great days, but he has to help the American people come to the right decisions and go to the polls and vote and make sure that we don't lose this wonderful country of ours to the crazies on the left.
Bob, you're fascinating. God bless you, friend, for your time. Let me say to our viewers and listeners, check out his latest book called The Rainbow Chaser, The Man Who Gambled for Success and Broke Even. What a fascinating title. And his story is not a little bit of a memoir where he's been through. It is a clear warning, folks. Wake up. And you can get this online. And, of course, his website is livingstongroupdc.com. And there's the picture of that landing page. God bless you, friend. Let's stay connected.
Thank you very much.
Okay,
God bless you.
Welcome to Fish Lake Resort, where adventure is everywhere, and everyone is your friend. The fishing is great, and the food is tasty. The RV sites are full hookup, and the cabins are cozy. It's always a good time at Fish Lake Resort, and the best part is, you can come visit any day of the year because we are open all year, 7 days a week. Visit fishlakeresort.net today to learn more and plan your visit.
Jesus is the answer for the world today. Above him there's no other, 'cause Jesus is the way. Jesus is the answer for the world today. Above him there's no other, 'cause Jesus is the way. Sing along.
Do events in the world leave you confused and scratching your head? A world where up is down and down is up.
I'm Perry Atkinson. Mornings on the Dove knows how you feel. We're here to offer God's hope and encouragement and to help you to sort it all out.
And I'm Jerry Bilden. Mornings on the Dove alerts you to issues and events the mainstream media would rather you not know or know the truth.
A lot in the news today, some movement around in the Middle East, common sense discussions on today's headlines, and rational perspective on what's really going on.
That will leave you better informed and encouraged by the gospel.
In this upside-down world, there's one place you can trust to get it straight.
Check into Mornings on the Dove each day to find out what's really going on and to be encouraged.
Mornings on the Dove, weekdays from 6 to 8 a.m. on the Dove TV and radio. Streaming online at thedove.us, Roku, and Apple TV. The Dove, encouraging and informative.
Well, welcome back. And as you know, we're very much in a Oregon primary election cycle, and I'm very honored to have with us today Representative Ed Deal. He's an engineer, businessman, and has been serving Oregon's 17th district, representing them in the House of Representatives. And now he's a candidate for governor for this coming election cycle. Let me just say that you can check out eddeal.com is the website. And there's a picture of that landing page right there. Representative, good to see you. How are you, friend?
Hey, I'm doing great. How are you?
Good. Where are you? You're on the campaign trail.
Believe it or not, I'm home.
Oh, good. Well, good to see you.
We have a little bit of time before our first debate tonight.
Oh, that's right. Tonight's
RP debate. Yeah.
the big debate. Well, the best to you. Good to see you. Thanks for your time. So why are you doing this? Why are you doing this?
Oh, that's a good question.
Yeah.
Well, there's a number of reasons why I got into this in the first place. I just don't feel our state's heading in the right direction at all. And but why I got into the race for governor, I'm currently state representative, but I got in the race for governor because we have a governor right now who is really not looking out for the best interests of the Oregon people. And I saw this, all of Oregon saw this with the referendum, the transportation tax and fee bill, which she really pushed through despite overwhelming public opposition. And that just didn't sit well with me because I'm in here to represent the people.
Yeah.
So that's really number one. I want a state where we have a governor that represents the will of the people, that honors the Constitution, and we have some serious problems in this state. I'm all about accountability in our government, affordability, and building a thriving economy.
The referendum was loud and clear from the citizens.
Oh, yeah.
And even with the finagling trying to move it and keep it on the May ballot, it appears this could be one of the largest May turnouts we've seen because of this measure. Do you expect it to go down?
We do expect it to go down. Vote no on Measure 120. We gathered 250,000 signatures in 38 days, which is really a historical thing because it was all done with volunteers.
Well, we'll see. Good stuff. In the meantime, just getting to some of the core of your campaign, you have said that you want to cut spending by 10%. How do you want to do that?
Yeah, there's a number of taxes. We have a very high tax rate in the state, and frankly, it's driving businesses and good families out of the state. So first and foremost, I'm calling for the elimination of the hidden sales tax, if you know what I mean there. That is the corporate activities tax. Oregon has the onerous tax on every single business that is based on revenue. It's not based on profit, based on revenue. So whether your business makes money or not, you're paying that tax. And of course, we know that it's passed right on to consumers. So it is a pretty onerous tax. I want to eliminate that. I also want to eliminate the death tax. Our death tax starts at a very low number, the lowest threshold, I think, in the country. And we're proposing to eliminate it entirely. And then the last thing is to freeze property taxes for seniors.
That's been one of my pet peeves from day one.
Yeah.
Well, everybody I've interviewed.
I hear it everywhere I go. It's an applause line when I say we're going to freeze property taxes for senior citizens.
Well, I sure hope so. I mean, that's a no-brainer, and it sends a huge signal. You've also talked about creating 25,000 private secular jobs. Now, this would have to hinge on being business friendly, and we're not very business friendly in this state. If we lose a Lithium Motors or a Columbia Sports or a Nike, we're in big trouble.
I know.
So how do we reverse this and make this a business friendly state?
Well, there's a number of things that are going on. One is our tax rate. It just is a disincentive to set up shop here. And then we have, when I talk about agency accountability, we have layer upon layer of rule and regulation and permitting that make it especially onerous and expensive to do business in Oregon. And this is happening across the state. This is something that crosses that urban-rural divide now like nobody's business. We have Portland shedding private sector jobs by the thousands. And it's not just Portland. I was down in White City talking to a boat company. This is a Oregon-made company called Pavati Boats. They build beautiful aluminum drift boats and amazing top-of-the-line ski boats, aluminum ski boats. And we actually held our meeting in one of the boats. But they want to expand in Oregon. And they're facing so many costs with system development charges and things like that. And they have tried to have an audience with Governor Kotek and have gotten nowhere with that. But guess what's happening? Texas businesses are recruiting Pavati. They had a call from Governor Greg Abbott and had a meeting with Texas Governor Abbott. And I hate to tell you, but they decided to move to Texas.
Oh, gosh.
That is just a symptom of what's going on around the state. Other states know that we have such a terrible business climate. So as governor, I'm committed that the first call that a business owner gets from an active governor is not the governor of Texas. It will be the governor of Oregon. And I spent my career in business and industry. I started an Oregon-based business, bootstrapped it with 2 business partners. I sold a car, leveraged my credit cards, put everything I owned on the line, including my house with 2 little kids at home. But it was a dream. And we built that business up to 100 employees. And we were solving very challenging manufacturing problems. That was what we did. And I sold that business a few years ago. But I have that understanding of what it takes to build a business, what it means to sign both sides of the paycheck, what it means to pay your employees before you get paid, and you get what's left sometimes. So we need that attitude at the governor's office now more than ever if we're going to turn this around.
A big hearty amen to that.
Yeah.
In the meantime, back to the mess, and that is the governor fixed a $350 million problem with a $4.3 billion tax hike. When an agency is $350 million upside down, doesn't that warrant at least an audit as to what's going on?
Absolutely. Part of my platform is to do 100% performance audits on every state agency. You know, you got to look at, we have doubled our state budget in 10 years. And you can't explain that with inflation. You can't explain it with population growth. You can't even get to half of it. So we know that our spending is really out of control. We need to get these agencies back focused on their core mission. So for me, that starts with detailed performance audits, independent performance audits, not just ODOT, but the Department of Education, the DEQ, every single state agency. We also need new leadership in these agencies that knows how to do a deep dive into the workings of these operations, look for fraud and abuse, waste, and basically look. The most important thing is look for misalignment on their core mission. You know, what's the number one goal in ODOT's strategic plan? It's not road safety and maintenance, it's equity.
Wow.
Equity doesn't fill potholes, it doesn't make my roads safer. So we have an agency mission misalignment problem, and that will be fixed when I'm governor.
Swing your attention to education. We're near the bottom. Certainly nothing to be proud of, and yet we have some of the highest tax dollar rate per student in the country.
Yes.
What do we do with this, Coach? How do we fix this problem?
Yeah, you know, it's an embarrassment, isn't it? Mm-hmm. It really is an embarrassment that we're in this situation with, given the amount of money we spend. So for me, it's getting back to the basics of what we know is a good education. It's about accountability, discipline, and excellence. We need to restore academic testing standards across the board. We also need to restore truancy and enforce truancy requirements. We have one of the highest absenteeism rates in the country, and it's because we don't enforce our truancy laws. The legislature's response is, well, we need to study truancy. No, I think we need to enforce it and hold parents and teachers accountable. We also have a real challenge in our classrooms. And if you talk to teachers, they are so frustrated. They're frustrated because they can't maintain discipline in their own classrooms.
Yeah, all right.
And so I've talked to a lot of good teachers that are basically leaving the discipline. It's sad. So little changes in our state laws that would allow teachers to maintain discipline. That's the fair thing to do for all those kids that are trying to do the right thing and are seeing a lot of disruptions right now.
So, Ed, how did all things sexual and sexual activity become the number one academic item to teach? What happened to basic education?
You know, there is a gender ideology that has taken over not just our education system, but it's in every state agency. And all I can say is that is going to go away when I'm governor.
Okay.
There's male and there's female. And I believe 100% in respecting and enforcing Title IX. And I will make sure boys stay out of girls' sports and out of girls' safe spaces.
Good for you.
And that's just basic stuff. And, it's not radical. It's not radical to say that there's male and female.
What do you want to do the first day you're governor?
First day I'm governor, there's several executive orders that I want to repeal. We've put executive orders in place in the name of the climate that are really not doing anything for the climate, but are increasing every Oregonian's cost of energy and gas. So I want to go through systematically to repeal those laws.
Okay.
I also want to make sure that our law enforcement has the full authority to cooperate and communicate with federal authorities and remove criminals from our state. And that went away with a law put in place in 2021. Mm-hmm. So I want to restore that immediately and make sure we can actively work with federal officials and get criminals who are in the country illegally out of the state.
Do you think it's possible we could ever rescind our sanctuary state status?
The way I look at it, the real problem came in 2017 when Kate Brown put an executive order in that went from a basic understanding. For a long time we had law enforcement, your job is public safety. Feds, your job is immigration enforcement. But we can talk together. We can communicate with each other. What happened in 2017, and then it was put into law in 2021, that forbid even basic communication and cooperation between our law enforcement and the feds. It is so outrageous right now that you can have someone come to Oregon, commit a heinous crime, serve their time in prison, and then be released back into the community.
Yeah.
Instead of what the common sense thing is to have law enforcement call the feds and say, hey, if we have somebody here, please support them. That is what I'm calling for. And so I'm calling for the repeal of the 2021 Sanctuary Promise Act.
Lastly, by the way, good luck tonight. I think you got some great answers here. Lastly, it really appears, Ed, we have a crack in the proverbial concrete in Salem to put a Republican governor in that seat. And you've been traveling the state. What's the feel out there?
The feel is absolutely people are ready for change. And there's a little bit of a sense of desperation in their voices. And I'm talking about Portland, too, not just in the rural areas. Everywhere I go, people are saying, if things do not change, I am leaving. I am leaving the state.
Yeah.
That's not just businesses, that's families. People are seeing their children decide to move because they can't find a good job and they can't afford to live here anymore. Yeah. My vision for Oregon is to be the greatest place in the country to live, to work, to raise your family, retire in a place where your kids and grandkids don't have to leave and find a better job. So, the common themes that unite us across Oregon, across that urban divide, are taxes, good paying jobs, an education system that actually works, and fixing the homelessness issue. That's just, and the wonderful thing is those are uniting us as Oregonians like never before.
Well, gosh, we got everything to offer companies to come here except bad regulations.
I know, but we change it with the right leadership.
Yeah.
I am confident that referendum effort so many people that we're going to have turn out like we haven't seen in years.
All right, look into that camera and ask people for your vote.
I would love your vote. Vote for Ed Deal. That's eddeal.com. You can find out all about me on my website. I'm very active on social media, and I am traveling all over the state. And I look forward to meeting you directly and earning your vote. And let's take back our Oregon.
All right, very good. That's Ed Diehl, DIEHL.com. There's a picture of the landing page. You can go there and check out his positions on issues. And best of luck tonight during debate. We'll be watching, and maybe we can connect again.
You bet. I'd love to. Thank you.
Thanks, Ed. All right, God bless you. Mornings on the Dove covers important issues.
But we also take the time to have some fun.
Along with encouragement, the day's forecast, and Jerry's Day in history.
So start your day with encouragement and information.
Join us weekday mornings on the Dove.
When life feels heavy, your body feels it, your mind feels it. That is why I created Organic Elements Wellness Spa, a place where wellness is not a luxury, it's a way of life. Step into our wellness lounge with a Himalayan salt room, infrared sauna, steam room, and invigorating cold plunge. Restore your nervous system, detox your body, and clear your mind. Then experience customized massage, advanced skin therapies, and result-driven facials, all designed to help you look as good as you feel. There's nothing else like this in Southern Oregon. This is your space to heal, to reset, to glow. Call today to book your private wellness party for up to 15 guests, or surprise someone special with a gift certificate.
Visit Organic Elements Wellness Spa on East Main Street in Medford. Book online at organicelementspa.com. Wellness is wholeness. Voted best of Southern Oregon.
At Sweet Tea Express, we've got you covered. Order at the counter and our friendly service staff will do the rest. Breakfast served daily until 2 p.m. Breakfast burritos, biscuits and gravy, skillets, omelets, and more. Sweet Tea Express. Don't get caught hungry.
Hi, I'm Ryan Robertson, host of a brand new program on the Dove, Ministries on the Move. Ministries on the Move spotlights the incredible work of how God is using everyday people and organizations, putting their faith into action, serving the hurting, strengthening families, and sharing the hope of the gospel in practical ways. Be inspired and discover these ministries on the move. Tuesdays and Thursdays at 4 p.m., right here on the Dove TV. Encouraging and informative. More at theDove.us.
Well, welcome back. I wanted to take a few moments at the tail end of Focus today to say to our viewers and listeners, thank you so very much for supporting the Dove. As you know, we're in a spring boost appeal, asking you to prayerfully consider supporting the Dove. It's been an interesting first quarter for us here at the Dove, one of the most interesting and challenging ones we've faced in many, many years. And I think a lot of it has to do with the economy overall, high gas prices, and talking to other ministries and pastors and everybody else are experiencing the crunch, and we here at the Dove certainly experienced it as well. And so we've been asking for your prayerful consideration of helping us through this time. Again, don't take from your church or any other ministry that you're involved in. As of yesterday, as I was taking a look at it and trying to figure out where we are, we're about 76% of the goal that we have set for this. So we've got a little bit ways to go yet, but thank you so much for those of you who have really gone out of your way to send a special gift to help us get back on track and to get back within our budget. And I just want to say thank you. We don't take any of that lightly. I tell you, it's an interesting time, and I think all of us feel it, especially when you go to fill up your gas tank these days. And but your support makes the big difference here. 84% of the Dove revenue comes from viewers and listeners just like you. And quite frankly, if you weren't there, we wouldn't be here. But we're coming out of it, thanking the Lord for that. We're about 76% of the way there. So if the Lord lays it on your heart to help us during this time, we certainly can use it, and we certainly appreciate it. You can call anytime at 541-776-5368 or safely and securely online at theDove.us. And there's a couple of our farmers right there. We've been asking you to become a farmer with us, Melinda and Jerry there, but to plant a seed, and that's what we do. We plant seeds of the gospel, of the good news, of hope and help and answers to tough questions in people's hearts every day with the programming that we do here through the radio and television network. And our job is to plant and our job is to water. It's God's job to harvest. And when you support the Dove, you become a farmer, a partner along with us. And believe me, you're making a huge difference. A lot of times we don't hear from people until something clicks, and then they send us a note, or you send us a note, maybe an email or phone call, maybe even a letter. And you talk about how the Dove has ministered to you. And I can say this. We're impacting people all over the place. We have some digital platforms that go worldwide, Roku, the internet, Apple TV, and others like that. But on the broadcast side, we have radio and television from above Portland all the way down through California and the Bay Area, clear on down into Visalia and down into like the Bakersfield area. And when you look at the population of that, the Dove is covering about 14 million people. That's a big deal, and we are thankful for the opportunity to reach them. We're working with satellite companies, we're working with cable companies, we're working with other digital platforms. We just want the Word of God out. That's all we want. Our mission is to present the Word of God through media that hopefully will help people change their lives, bring hope and healing to them. And I can tell you that in this crazy, anxious world in which we live, more and more people are responding to the gospel. It is true. The research is true that young people, especially young men, are coming to the Lord, are investigating faith. They're going to church. Why? The culture's lied to them. And they're waking up and saying, there's got to be more than this. and they're going to church, and they're finding faith, and they're finding Christ. And it's just an amazing time. And the tool of media is reaching people privately in their homes, on their phones, on their tablets, in their cars, wherever. Media can get in there and people can listen and watch in the privacy of their home or car or whatever. And believe me, they are. And the Dove is ministering to thousands of people every hour of the day. So when you partner with us, you're helping us do that. So pray about it. And again, as I say, and I mean it sincerely, don't take from your church. We're not here to replace the church. That's not our job. Not our calling. Our calling is to come alongside and to work with the churches and to be there 24/7 to remind you that God really does love you. He really does have a plan for your life. There really is a heaven to gain and a hell to shun. And this whole thing called the Christian message is real. The life, the death, the burial, and the resurrection of Christ is real. It is the answer for today, and it's the answer to your life. So when you partner with the Dove, you're helping us get that simple message out through the various programs that we have on the air. So call anytime, 541-776-5368. If you get a busy signal, call back. And then you can safely and securely go online at theDove.us and only do what the Lord is leading you to do. Okay, so thank you. Thank you. Thank you from all of us here at the Dove. Those in front of the camera, behind the camera, in the control room, in the engineering department, up on towers, wherever, in the office. We all just want to say thank you for believing in, praying for the Dove, and supporting the Dove. God bless you.
Since 1934, Grange Co-op has been more than just a store. We've been a cornerstone of our community, owned by people like you. We proudly offer top-quality farm and ranch supplies, including our own Rogue feed, as well as workwear, Western apparel, garden essentials, and pet care products. By signing up as a Grange Rewards customer, you not only enjoy exclusive benefits like special offers and 1% back on most purchases, but you also become part of something bigger, a cooperative that you own and help shape. Join Grange Rewards today.
Applegate River Golf and RV Resort, a pristine 9-hole course alongside the Applegate River. Their clubhouse offers a golf simulator experience. The RV Resort is adjacent to the golf course with convenient pull-through parking. Applegate River Golf and RV Resort. Information at applegaterv.com.
Panoramic Moto Tours was born really out of my passion just to ride Gray's back roads and the scenic highways in our beautiful Northwest. God put it on my heart to share the experiences and invite others. More than riding beautiful roads, it's the camaraderie and fellowship. It's hearing each other's stories. It's being mutually encouraged on our journeys of life.
Riders can book one of our ready-to-ride guided tours, offering the best of Oregon or Northern California. Or book a private custom tour tailored just for your group to destinations like Glacier or Yellowstone. For more information, go to
panoramicmototours.com or call me, Nick, at 541-622-3844. When you find something you love, you just want to share it.
panoramicmototours.com. Your next adventure starts here.